Grimes down the line. Right in the grill of
The Jason Gregor Show.
up ice for it's Kobe and leaves for Rantanen. Rantanen to the inside. Nice move. Back in. He scored. Oh, wow. What a goal.
Sports 1440.
Let's go over to Grimes. Grimes down the right in the grill.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Back to Hughes. Kaprizov fires. He scores! Kirill Kaprizov wins it for the Wild.
Tremendous Tuesday. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. The show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Remember, it's Tuesday, and that is Lotto Max, $25 million up for grabs, PlayAlberta.ca. And, of course, tonight, the Oilers and the Maple Leafs. A rivalry that is, it's interesting. The Leafs and the Oilers have never been in the playoffs. They only meet twice a year. Yet if I talk to Oiler fans, you've got the Flames, you got the Canucks, but man, Oiler fans' disdain for Toronto is right up there. And I think for a lot of different reasons. I think ever since McDavid's been drafted, the rivalry has intensified a little bit because Oilers fans get a little sour having to listen to the fact that, like, from day one, I didn't like Edmonton. Look at his face. He wasn't happy, blah, blah, blah. Right? And then for, many years he was losing. Oh, he's never going to want to stay in Edmonton. He's going to leave. And I get it. You know what? There was a part of you that didn't want to believe it. Took it personal. I understand it. Then it got a little nuts when you had TSN and Sportsnet constantly McDavid, Matthews. And I know it came to a peak in 2022 when Matthews won the Hart. A lot like, oh, yeah, McDavid, Matt. And I think there was even one year they had at the start of the season, Matthews was ranked the best player. And you're kind of like, hey, let's be realistic. Did he have a good year the previous year? Yes. Was he better than McDavid? No. I still chuckle when I think about when I was asked to be a guest on Leafs Lunch, and they're all McDavid, Matthews, and I was like, well, I actually don't even think that's the comparison. The better question is who's better, Draisaitl or Matthews? And I argue that Leon Draisaitl was for a variety of reasons. Number one, health, and number two, he scores a lot of goals, right? Playmaker, and this was before Draisaitl went on the ridiculous runs that he's done in the playoffs. Because if you just look at their playoff numbers, it's not even a comparison. Never mind McDavid. Give me a break. Matthews isn't close to Draisaitl in the postseason. Not remotely close. So I can see why. And it's good. I love rivalries. Fans get irked up, man. I can tell you right now, the text line already. People are fired up, and that's good. And that's why, you know what? The atmosphere in the building tonight, it's probably going to be, I don't know, 35, 40% maybe Leaf fans. And those who go, most of them wear a jersey. Oiler fans are getting better at wearing jerseys for sure. And I understand why you don't. It's pretty damn expensive to have a jersey and paying for all the seats. I get it. But when Toronto comes to town, the building's a little bit louder. There's dueling chants, right? Go Leafs, go. You try to drown each other out. And there's nothing on this big screen. It is just fans being fans. And I think it's awesome. It's fantastic. That's how it should be, to be honest. And I think tonight will be no different. Toronto comes in, they've won 2 in a row. They still believe as an organization they can make the playoffs. Their GM, other GMs who have touched base with them says, hey, I'm not thinking about selling off right now, because we get a lot of texts every day on the show at 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 about, hey, Bobby McMahon and other players. And that's fine. But at this stage, there's been no conversations about Bobby McMahon because the Leafs aren't interested in it. Now, that can change. Right, let's say Toronto loses tonight. Boston has 2 games between now and the Olympic break. Buffalo has 1 game. Toronto loses tonight. This is their last game before the break. And Boston wins both of theirs, and Buffalo, you're talking now 9 or 10 points. Right, right now they're 5 back of the Bruins and holding out hope that they can keep winning. And the Bruins will maybe go in a little bit of funk. That's what you have to believe if you are the Toronto Maple Leafs at this point. That's just how it works, right? You have no other choice in the matter in thinking that maybe we can make it. So they'll come in here tonight and say, hey, guys, let's go in on a 3-game winning streak, go to the break, feeling a little bit better about ourselves. Awesome. William Nylander's back. He's got 15 points in his last 8 games. Awesome. You're the Edmonton Oilers. On the other hand, you're like, hey, wait a sec. We're tied with Vegas for first, but the LA Kings, who are currently in 9th place in the Pacific Division, they're only they're 9th place in the West. They're only 4 points back. The Oilers are far from in, a comfortable spot yet. So, and actually they're 7 back of Boston. My bad, not 5. So, they could be, you're talking 9, 10, 11 points back, depending on what happens with the Bruins. If the Bruins just win one of their games, and Toronto doesn't win tonight, then yeah, they're going 9. And the Sabres had a huge win last night. The Sabres play, after beating Florida last night, they're down 2-0 in the first 6 minutes of the game. They come back and win the game. That's a huge win for the Sabres. Huge. And now they got Tampa Bay tonight. Cirelli's out now. And he's out of the Olympics. If you missed it, Cirelli's out on Team Canada. Sam Bennett is in on Team Canada. Still no word on Braden Point. They're hoping that he'll be ready, but we'll see. So, Sam Bennett in, Cirelli out. Not a huge surprise to me. It's a center for a center. That one actually makes sense to me. I get it, right? You're losing a center. The other guy probably would have been Mark Scheifele, but Bennett played there last year at the Four Nations and did really well. Now, Bennett's not going to play tonight, though, for Florida. But Tampa Bay has Buffalo, and then Buffalo plays in Pittsburgh on Thursday. And, man, the Sabres are rolling. They could put themselves in a real great spot going into the Olympic break. They already have, but even better spot. Meanwhile, you're the Oilers. You have L.A. 4 points back of you. Seattle and Anaheim 3 points back. You're tied with Vegas. You need wins. You're at home. You're facing a team, 3rd game in 4 nights, second half of a back-to-back. One of the worst road teams in the NHL. I know they beat Vancouver and Calgary, but, hey, they're 2 of the worst teams in the league. Good for Toronto to take care of business. But you're the Edmonton Oilers. You have no excuse not to be ready tonight. None. Zilch. 0. And when I say be ready defensively. They're going to score. The Oilers and the Leafs, their games are highly entertaining. I think their last 7 games, they've been over 7 goals in 6 of them. Right? The Oilers beat the Maple Leafs earlier this year. And did you know, fun fact, the Edmonton Oilers can do something tonight that they've only ever done once in franchise history. One time. You got to go way back to 1989. They didn't do it with Gretzky on the team. They've never done it with Gretzky. They've never done it with McDavid, but they could do it tonight. Con, you any idea what that is?
Off the top of my head, no. Beat the Leafs for a certain amount of times.
Yes. Sweep the season series. They've never beat them in a season. Now, the Leafs have swept the Oilers in the season series quite a bit here in the last decade. But the Oilers have never won the season series where they swept it other than 1989 when they won all 3 games. And they spanked them that year. Outscored them 23-5. They beat them like 9-1 in one game, 8-2 in another, 6-2 in the other game. 1989. Gretzky was gone. That was the year the Oilers lost in the first round of the Kings, but they spanked the Maple Leafs in the regular season. Only time. They never had swept a regular season meeting between them and the Maple Leafs, so they could do that tonight. So something on tap for tonight if you want to go to the game. And speaking of the game, we've got a pair of seats. It is we're into grad season. We've got lots of grads. We're getting lots of I'm going to have to raise more money this year. So we got a pair of seats to tonight's game. Oilers and the Maple Leafs. All the money going to go to the Gregor Foundation. So you'll go to the game. Maybe you'll cheer for the Oilers. Maybe you'll cheer for the Leafs. Whatever you do, it's your choice. Your tickets. Great seats are my seats, lower bowl. Oilers attack twice. So if you want to go tonight, maybe you want to ensure that if you're an Oilers fan, that there's 2 fewer Leaf fans in the building. Your choice. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. You can text us. We got a busy show for you today. Well, we're going to hear from Connor McDavid. Of course, if you missed it, we'll talk about his Player Tribune article that came out yesterday talking about Canada, but also just, his thoughts on the Edmonton Oilers and why I think many Oilers fans were loving it, to be honest. Some pretty forthright comments from McDavid on, how he views the team and how he views himself and how he is feeling and where they could go potentially moving forward as early as this year. Also about the importance of the Olympics and really what that 4 nations meant to him. I thought it was kind of a little chuckling. He talked about when he got named the captain and he was 19 years of age. And he was thinking about a lot of things. There was like, man, I got to move out of my parents' house now. How am I supposed to be a leader of room when these guys have 2 or 3 kids and I'm back at home and mom's like, hey, tough game. I washed your sheets. Funny. Now, I don't know if McDavid, I think that's where you have the writer that helps out with that line. I'm not sure that's David's line. Who knows? Maybe it was, but we'll see. Either way, there was lots in there about, being in Edmonton. This was probably the part that I think Oilers fans, there's a few parts in there that stood out for Oilers fans. If you missed it, quote, I'm 11 years into my career. Of course, I think about my legacy. I want to be remembered as a winner, but not just anywhere, here in Edmonton. To be in this city during a cup run, to feel that buzz. It just wouldn't be the same somewhere else. I think there's this narrative that we're this unlucky, troubled team. The end result hasn't been there, but it's not easy getting to 2 straight cup finals. We pride ourselves on being good playoff performers, and our room knows what we're capable of. I believe in this group. If I didn't, I wouldn't have signed my extension. And then he talks about 4 nations and many other things. So I definitely would recommend it. If you're an Oilers fan, gives you a little bit of a pull the curtain back on McDavid's mindset. Nothing shocking. He was he doesn't love those who kind of claim he's robotic. He just talks about, what, man, my focus is winning. I hate losing, and it's kind of who we are. Right. And this was another part of it that I thought was pretty good insight. He talked about when ever since he was a kid, he remembered losing. He goes, I remember one year I was like 11 or 12. We won 50 games during the season, lost 1. On the car ride home after the loss, I cried my eyes out. Looking back, of course, it seems pretty ridiculous now, but I remember the pain of losing and how at times it felt so much worse than the joy of winning. And if I'm honest, I still struggle with that. It's something I've tried to work on these past few seasons. When we lose a game, whether it's game 1 or 82 or game 3 of a playoff, it's a big deal in Edmonton. Like I said, I welcome that pressure. But as a player, as a leader, I can't get too high or too low. And how do you have fun in that environment? I don't have that answer right now. Sometimes the regular season feels like a grind. I think you've seen it in our play this year, in my play. Not always proud of that, but I want to be honest because I want to say is that our room is working really hard. We're trying to win and have fun and be the team we know we can be. Coach is always telling me to relax, and I don't always listen to that as much as I should. But there's a part of me that feels I shouldn't relax until we win, or that I shouldn't write stuff like this until then. but it's important to not be afraid of the scars we have and how close we came. I think it's important as a captain to be human and not just a hockey robot. I wish more than anything those finals went the other way. It sucks. There's no other way to put it. Breaks my heart. But the only option you have is to use it as fuel for the fire and show up the next day to the rink determined to get better. That makes sense. I don't think you probably, I think for fans, they like reading it, maybe gives you a sense of, all right. Because it is, and we talked about it yesterday on the show. The Oilers have allowed 25 goals in the last 5 games. It's not good, but it doesn't mean that means they can't defend in the playoffs, right? It's totally different. It's totally different. So, and other years in January, you stunk, right? I always talk about it. The Oilers' worst loss in franchise history came in Hartford when they lost 11-0. They lost actually all 5 games on the road trip. They got spanked. Then they came home, and I think they won 19 of their final 20 games and won their first Stanley Cup that year. They'd been to a Stanley Cup final the year before, and you still lost 11-0. Like, it's going to happen. Things aren't going your way. I think Dave Lumley was our guest on the show. He took a major penalty that game, and they scored like 4 power play goals. The Brass Bonanza played 4 times when he was in the penalty box, so he hates the song. But it's going to happen. Like, even championship teams aren't champions every night of the regular season, right? They're just not. So it's kind of how it goes. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Dan opens it up at $200 if you want to bid. You can text in for the Oilers and the Maple Leaf tickets tonight. Row 17, section 115 in the lower bowl. Great vantage point to watch the game. I'll tell you that. And it'll be a good crowd, man. I mean, I look forward to games like this. You got the dueling chants. It gets pretty loud. It's obviously not playoff loud, but it's definitely one of the loudest regular season games of the year. Easily. Every time Toronto comes, Montreal, or the Oilers make a ridiculous comeback like it did the other night, the building gets pretty damn loud. And that's how it'll be tonight. So Greg Wyshynski is going to join us right away. We got Austin Mack, the new receiver for the Edmonton Elks. TR will be by. Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM. We got Tater. Yaremchuk's in today. Struddy, Mark Spector. We got a busy Tuesday edition of the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We'll return with more.
Oodle Noodle Origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
Cantork has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at cantork.com.
Okay, and that's another goal for Gregor. You know what would be even better than winning gold?
Okay, I'll bite.
Winning a gold medal made of Wilhauk beef jerky.
Athletes do get hungry, and they could use a snack on the podium. I think I'll start a petition.
Really?
No. Now pass the Wilhauk and turn up the games.
For a truly Canadian snack to cheer on our truly Canadian athletes, you need Wilhauk beef jerky, made with Alberta pride right here in Leduc.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Game. Sports 1440 is your front row seat to the wild world of sports. Local legends, national headlines, and everything in between. Your game, your station. This is Sports 1440.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Happy New Year. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for everything in 2025. With your help and your support, we fed almost 500 families. We donated to various charities in the Edmonton area, and we're going to do it again in 2026. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Friday night calls for a family fun that's second to none, starting with a big party.
It's the Oil Kings mascot Louie's birthday bash, presented by Bloom Benefits.
Edmonton faces the Moose Jaw Warriors. Local mascots will be in the house for Louie's big day, and every fan in attendance gets a card for their chance to win a fun Louie prize.
Plus, 4 Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is lion-sized.
Oil Kings Warriors, Louie's birthday bash, Friday at 7.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Something's happening. Something big. The Service Big Share Contest is back, where just by saving money with Service Credit Union, you could win $1 million. From now until the end of April, the more money you save with us, the more chances you have to win. The Service Big Share Contest. Isn't it time to feel good about your money? The Service Big Share Contest ends April 30th, 2026. No purchase required. For information and rules, visit service.ca/win.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and you can play score and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
We roll through Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Bill came in at 250. Now we got Dan at 300, and Big Baby is up to 400 on the orders and Maple Leaf tickets for tonight's game. It's always going to be a fun atmosphere. The Leafs looking to win 3 in a row, and their road trip go into the Olympic break on a high. Oilers got 2 games left tonight and then tomorrow in Calgary, and they're battling Vegas for first place in the Pacific, but also trying to stave off Anaheim and Seattle, who are battling tonight as well. And Oilers they're only 4 points out of the 9th spot in the Western Conference, so they're far from in easy street just yet, shall we say. Now, let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And we were talking about this last week on the show. And Frank's Red Hot. Not super hot, but it's good. And Frank's is bringing the heat to some of your favorite McDonald's menu items. Dip into the new Frank's Red Hot menu, available only at McDonald's for a limited time. Limited time means this month. So get it right now at McDonald's. As Greg Wyshynski from ESPN joins us. Greg, how you doing?
Doing well. Obviously, shivering with anticipation for the Olympics, but also shivering because I was in Tampa for the outdoor game, and it did not feel like Florida.
No, it's tough. I saw that. Like, I was, it was really. I had a little finger violin going for all of the complaints of how chilly it was. Thinking back to the inaugural outdoor game in Edmonton, it's a little bit different, but I loved it. I by the way, I thought it was one of the best outdoor games ever.
Easily. I mean, I think only a handful of Stadium Series games have ended as 1-goal games. So getting that was a novelty. But I mean, now we know what the secret to success is for an outdoor game. Just give the team with Nikita Kucherov a 5-on-3 for about half a period, and then split that up with a goalie fight, and we've got ourselves a pretty good hockey game. But no, it was a ton of fun. I've often said that even if you think these outdoor games don't play as well as they used to on television, or if they've run out of interesting venues to take these things to, like when you're on site for one of these things, it really does feel special. It really does feel amazing to look around, and if you're a Lightning fan, see 65,000 of like-minded individuals show that you're part of a larger community. It still remains a really cool thing to be a part of when you're at these things live.
Oh, and you know what, Greg? Very well said. People who complain about the outdoor game, I'm like, it's not for everybody on TV. It might not be the best vantage point because the cameras and everything else, and it's probably teams you're not a fan of. But for the people who are there, that's who it's for. And, there's a huge crowd. It's over 64,000 people there. The game was unreal itself. As you mentioned, fights, big leads. It was great. They had, John Cooper going up for best dress now, an ode to Scarface. Like, there was lots to like about that game. And, you mentioned Kucherov, who's on an absolute, this is how hot Nikita Kucherov is in the calendar year of 2026. Since January 1st, Kucherov has 10 more points than Connor freaking McDavid, and McDavid's third in the NHL in scoring. Like, Kucherov's just been on another planet for a month.
It's insane. He's so good. By the way, I think Cooper won the Jack Adams for me by coming back out dressed as Tony Montana in the second period. Like, the Lightning scored the first goal, record. Then they get their teeth kicked in for the rest of the period, and I'm like, Coop's going to come back out in like a windbreaker. Like, he's going to enough with this clown stuff. Like, we're getting rolled by a division rival, but he came back out in the fedora and the Cuban gangster outfit. And I'm just like, you know what? Respect. And then the hockey gods smiled upon him. But, Kucherov, I think, has a problem. And the problem is that he's Russian. And the problem is that his name is Nikita Kucherov. And the problem is that although he's a charismatic guy, a lot of people outside of Tampa usually see him as a bit standoffish, and he doesn't have the same popularity rating as a McKinnon or a McDavid or other guys that lead in the points race and get into the Hart conversation. It's only when his numbers become undeniable he wins the Hart. And maybe that's where we're headed this year, where he just becomes an undeniable candidate for MVP.
Well, he's definitely up there for sure. There's no question about it. And sometimes how you finish matters, I think, for sure. McKinnon got off to an unbelievable start, but now he's being passed by McDavid and Kucherov, Kucherov was 19 points behind him on December 31st. And he's closed the gap to 5. Like, that's wild. So it's definitely something to watch for sure. And unlike McKinnon and a lot of the other stars, Kucherov gets the break at the Olympics because Russia's obviously banned from participating.
That's true. Him and more than a few others get to rest up during that break, whilst some really good American, Canadian players throw their body into the fray in trying to win gold in Italy.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Sam Bennett today's in, Cirelli's out. You know what? We also have goaltender change for Finland. There, Sweden's had 3 or 4 guys. They've had to make changes. And there's a few question marks here leading up to some of these teams over the next few hours, or not few hours, but next few days to decide if some other guys might not be going. It's like the worst possible timing for a guy like Cirelli. You get to the final week before the Olympics and then you get injured, like brutal.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously there's a Jack Hughes question circulating around Jersey where he's not playing tonight against Columbus. And, I think there's a hope that he can maybe play in their last game before the break, but there's no guarantees. And I do wonder what the reaction from Devils fans would be if he, doesn't play out the games in the NHL until the break and then shows up and plays his first game back in Italy. But yeah, I mean, this is why, they cast the net as wide as they do to try to build these rosters, is to have a good understanding that if player X goes down, we can easily get player Y in. That's, exactly why they went and put Jackson Lacombe on the team when Seth Jones got hurt for the Americans. So we'll see how it plays out. My heart breaks for a guy like Cirelli, by the way. My God, like he's playing in this outdoor game. It's an amazing atmosphere. He's having the time of his life. And then he suffers an injury in the first period that costs him a chance to live out his hockey dream. And interesting too for Canada. I mean, like I think him and Hagel make that team as kind of a package deal because of how good they are on the PK. Good for Hagel, I guess. He gets to still be on the team even though his running mate doesn't.
Greg Wyshynski from ESPN joins us. We're starting to see a little bit of separation in the in both conferences, but in the East specifically, you look and the Washington Capitals are 2 points back of the New York Islanders. The Columbus Blue Jackets, with 2 games in hand, have won 5 in a row. And I picked them last week. I said, Columbus is my team that is going to come out of the weeds in the East. Agree or disagree?
It's the potential's there. I mean, I think it all once again comes down to goaltending for them and how much they want to give Greaves action because he's clearly the better of the two. And Rick Bowness has clearly unlocked something with that team that Dean Evison couldn't, and that could easily just come down to the Rick Bowness touch of interpersonal connection and communication that he's shown to be so adept with, whether it was in Dallas or in Winnipeg. They're a team that's lurking. The team that I'm fascinated by in the East, not to switch it up here, but is Buffalo.
Yes.
Obviously everyone's fascinated by the insane heater they've been on since early December, but I dove into the numbers today a little bit on Buffalo, and it's kind of astonishing how better they were analytically before December 9th than they are during this hot streak. like 8th in the league in high danger chances per 60 at 5-on-5. And now they're 5th from the bottom. 6th in expected goals. Now they're 20th. 8th in scoring chances. Now they're 18th. Their offensive metrics have gotten significantly worse. And yet they're scoring about a goal per game more now than they were before December 9th. And it comes down to luck. It comes down to shooting percentage. It comes down to the fact that their shooting percentage has increased by more than 2% at 5-on-5 before the streak and after the streak. And so there's a lot of stuff under the hood that you don't like. But for a franchise that has probably been one of the unluckiest since Terry Pegula bought the team, we'll allow it that they're on a bit of a PDO heater, as it were, with their shooting percentage.
Yeah, well, they're hot. They're goaltending now. UPL is out, but Alex Lyon has played unreal for them. Yep. So they only have a few games left. Like last night for Buffalo, to me, I looked at this week and said, man, Buffalo has done so many great things, but now they got to play 3 teams this week. Every one of them has won back-to-back Stanley Cups in the last decade. It was not an easy road, right? You got Florida last night. They beat them after being down 2-0. Now you got Tampa tonight. And I know Pittsburgh's roster's really overchanged since 2017, but still, you know what? The Penguins are playing well. And you looked at the Sabres and I was like, man, if they could find a way to win 2 out of 3 games this week, I would look and say, man, like they would go in believing in themselves even more than Alex Tuck believes in them earlier. Right. But so last night was a huge win, I think, mentally for an organization that for many years, Greg, they play well. And then eventually they just fold.
I don't know. They're beating Florida without Barkov. They're going to play Lightning without Point and Paul and Cirelli, whatever Pittsburgh is. There's a certain amount of Drake May beating the Bo Nixless Broncos going on this week for the Sabres, all due respect. But they're a great story. And the bottom line for me about Buffalo is like the drought's got to end at some point. It might as well be in a season where the Panthers and Leafs are cooperating by opening up 2 slots in the Atlantic that usually are filled by this point. And it's only good for the NHL to have the boundless enthusiasm of the Buffalo fan base involved in the Stanley Cup playoffs, because I imagine it's going to be quite a party when this drought ends and they finally play some playoff hockey again in that city.
Dude, of all the playoff games I'd want to go to, game 1, or game 3, whichever one it is in Buffalo, whichever their first home game is, that's the game I'd want to go to, because I think it would be phenomenal, because they would be so excited. First time in 15 years they have a playoff game.
Yeah, and to contextualize it for those listening who might not know, like Buffalo is such a hockey mad market that the amount of people who watch the NHL in Buffalo used to influence the national rating for hockey in the United States. Like they'd be the number one market, and depending on how many people were watching a game is how good the rating would be. Like that's how important Buffalo was, and how absolutely insane it could be if they get successful again.
Looking at teams, like what about the Carolina Hurricanes? Like Carolina Hurricanes, to me, they're still the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't even put them in my top 6 Stanley Cup contenders because they're still the same team they've been every year, and they can't win with that team. They don't have a difference maker offensively.
They don't, but I think this is their best top to bottom offensive team they've had. And I've been struggling as to whether or not that's better than planting your flag on Jake Gensel or hoping that Mikko Rantanen sticks around. Like when you've got Taylor Hall playing on like your fourth line, like you're pretty loaded. Like you're pretty good offensively up and down. Now that being said, they're very much in the Panarin sweepstakes. They've loved this guy for a very long time. And if they find a way to land him, and given it's Panarin, and given that he probably wants to play in either Florida or Dallas or LA, they probably won't. But if they do find a way to maybe get him as a rental, if the conditions change and he stops treating this like his free agent time and starts treating it like where's the best place I can win a cup, I mean that could be a bit of a game changer for them, given what they already have on the roster. But I don't know. They're in a postseason where the East is going to be a little funky. Much like we were talking about with the Sabres, like it could be the chance for them to break down the door in the East, given that some of the Titans aren't going to be involved.
What about the New Jersey Devils?
Yeah, what about them?
Yeah, what happened to them, Greg? Like they were expected to be good here. Here they are. Like thankfully the Rangers are in their division and in their conference. Otherwise, people are like, what the hell is going wrong in New Jersey? Like on paper, they should be way better, and they're sitting in 15th place.
Stop me if you heard this one before. Jack Hughes didn't play a bunch of games, and the goaltending stinks. It's like you just rinse and repeat for the Devils over the last couple of years. Now, Jake Allen's been all right, but Markstrom's not been good.
The good news is, though, Markstrom gets a raise next year, so that's good news.
That's what I was going to bring up. I mean, like, the intrigue for the Devils right now, if they don't rally for a playoff spot, and I'm not writing them off because this is a team that is certainly shown a propensity for being able to go on a heater if all things are clicking at the same time, is what happens to the general manager. Like Tom Fitzgerald whiffed on the Quinn Hughes acquisition. He's not really done much to bolster this roster in a significant way. And he tendered an extension to a goaltender in October, who, come February has been a really significant disappointment for the team. So it'll be interesting to see what the reaction is to this season if they don't make the playoffs and don't rally in the second half, because it could be a pretty significant regime change in New Jersey if that happens.
Well, yeah, that would be. So Fitzgerald, do you think it might be on thin ice?
I think he might be on thin ice. It's funny, when Barry Trotz announced he was going to step down in Nashville, I had more than a few people in my Devils orbit that are like, Tom Fitzgerald was the captain of the Predators. What if he gets turfed in Jersey and then ends up taking over Nashville? And I'm like, it's the beautiful thing about the NHL is all the people in the echo chamber circulating what they hope could happen rumor-wise.
Well, Greg, it's fascinating. What's wild is you look at some teams that could miss the playoffs. Panthers don't have their first-round pick. Toronto doesn't have their first-round pick. Ottawa has had to give away their first-round pick. It just goes into midair, and no one gets it. It's quite wild to see the change, especially in the Eastern Conference this year. I don't think a lot of people thought there could be 4 or 5 new teams.
Yeah, or the fact that the entire Eastern Conference outside of the Rangers would be like over 500, for the most part. It's been a pretty wild year. And again, there's certain X factors that I don't think we counted on the positive side, like the Dan Hughes effect in Pittsburgh and the way that Boston has sort of remained strikingly relevant and hard to play against with their new coach and in a transition year. And Detroit being where they are in the standings, I think is a bit of a surprise too, with John Gibson really solving a lot of goaltending problems for them that we didn't anticipate that he would. So There's a lot of negative surprises for sure, Jersey and the Rangers being chief among them, but there's also been some real positive surprises too in the East that's made it a bit more chaotic.
Awesome stuff, man. Have a great day, Greg. Always good to catch up with you. Enjoy the Olympics. And enjoy, hey, the women probably got a very good chance to win the gold, but let's be honest. You're playing for silver for the men. That's
always been our saving grace. I have been a little bit more nervous in leading up to the Olympics. The watching a 2-1 game between the U.S. and Slovakia or Finland, where they're trailing in the third, and the pressure of not only falling short of gold but embarrassing themselves in front of Canada is too much for them, and they don't even play for a medal. That's been my nightmare in the weeks leading up to the Olympics.
Should be fun. Can't wait to see best on best. And there'll probably be a few surprise teams here win a game or two in the prelim round, so that'll be fun.
We shall see.
Awesome. There's Greg Wyshynski from ESPN. Quick break. We will return. We got lots more hockey and football to get to. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You think about what you're going to do in the day. Go to work, pick up the kids from school, make supper. But at GS Construction, we think a little differently. Winter is our season to think, to plan, and to improve. We study, we innovate, we train. So when the thaw comes, we're ready to dig, build, and deliver even better, which means we need people like you. If you're thinking about joining the team at GS Construction, now's the time to do it. To apply and to see how we think, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hear ye, hear ye. Dragon fruit has returned to Booster Juice. Prepare thyself for the legendary alchemy of the Dragon Slayer Smoothie, Pink Dragon Booster Mixer, and Dragon Booster Ball. Yeah? Does the dragon taste like chicken? Nay, Booster Juice uses only delicious tropical dragon fruit. No dragons are harmed. Get thee to Booster Juice before dragon fruit vanishes once more.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Just think, Kevin Karius has been covering Edmonton sports since before TikTok, Twitter, texting, and the Titanic. We may have made that last one up. Check out Karius in the mornings on Sports 1440. Your game, your station.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Mr. Reuter gets a colonoscopy.
All right, Mr. Reuter, just relax. We're almost finished.
Now, what am I looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow, the pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection, except you probably don't find tree roots.
You'd be surprised what we find.
You know, once I found a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Hey, me too.
For a plumber who values healthy pipes, call Mr. Reuter.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Gotta get dip. Gotta get dip. Gotta get dip. Gotta get dip, 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 dip. Gotta get dip.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.244. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having an awesome day. The Oilers taking on the Maple Leafs tonight. Connor Ingram will get the start in goal. Andrew Mangiapane back in the lineup tonight. Curtis Lazar will get a night off as Frederick will move to the middle between Janmark and Mangiapane. Other lines remaining the same for the Edmonton Oilers. The Toronto Maple Leafs, Anthony Stolarz will get the start in goal tonight after Wall played last night in Calgary in their 4-2 victory over the Flames. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Now, we are going to talk, of course, you had the media day last night. Cons, anything stand out to you last night at the NFL media evening?
Not really. I mean, I'll have to be totally honest with you. I kind of check out. Like, the Pro Bowl games don't do it for me. Did you know the Pro Bowl's tonight? Who cares? Leading up to it,
Well,
I don't care.
It's flag football night tonight, right? With the Pro Bowl?
I don't know. It just doesn't. It's not what it once was for me with the media lead up and the Pro Bowl games and the Pro Bowl flag football game. I'm just ready for the main dish.
Yeah, I agree with you on media day. Now, like, I think like the diehard professional guys probably get a little irked by some of the zany questions. Like, I don't mind if you want to ask a guy something they haven't been asked all year long. That's, hey, your favorite meal, that's whatever, fine. But there's a few times where it's like some of the guys try to make it about them. You're dressed up completely zany. Like, let's get real here. What are you trying to get your 50 minutes on your TikTok to go viral? Like, I don't know. It seems a little bit odd to me, but anyway, it's past and gone. And now we start to focus more on the matchups, which should be great as we get to our NFL report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca. From The Athletic, NFL writer Austin Mock joins us. And Austin, is it good to have media day gone?
Yeah, you like to get there, get the game going. I even being in the media, I get a little tired of it. So I'm ready for some football.
So let's look at it from a football perspective. I really like Seattle in this game. Tell me reasons why you think New England can surprise.
Yeah, I think, I'm in the same boat. I lean Seattle in this game as well. But if New England is going to have success, I think it comes with kind of a similar path to what the Rams have done, and that's finding some success in the run game on early downs so that Drake May isn't facing third and longs all game long. And that's really the key to beating this Seahawks defense is don't let them, force you, don't get into a drop back passing situation. And I think that run game, Ramondre Stevenson will try to figure something out. Maybe that takes a little bit of pressure off the offensive line for the Patriots as well. But I think that's the key. Will they be able to do it? I'm not sure. But if you're able to get Drake May with his scrambling ability that he's shown throughout the playoffs into 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5, that's a place that I think that the Patriots could then methodically move the ball down the field. And then kind of keep the Seattle offense off the field. And I think that's probably their best path to victory.
Yeah, I look at the Patriot. Where do you come out on, the schedule and who they played and everything? How much of a factor, if any, is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty big. They, by my numbers, like far and away the schedule faced this year. And to their credit, against those teams, a lot of times they blew those teams out. So I have to give them credit for that. That's probably what you want to see if you're playing a pretty weak schedule. But it does factor into it. Like, if you look at raw numbers, Drake May is going to be, a top passing offense, in a lot of metrics. He's going to be top 3 but you got to adjust for that. And I think we've seen that through the playoffs. I know they've had some iffy weather in a couple of the games, but they played a good defense in the Chargers. They played a good defense in the Texans. They played a good defense in the Broncos. And the offense has kind of looked out of whack. So there is definitely something to the schedule. I don't think this is a high-flying offense. I don't expect them to put up, 30 points against any of these teams. And now they're going up against another great defense in Seattle. But it's a huge factor. And I think we've seen that definitely on the offensive line for the Patriots in this offense. They definitely benefited from the easy schedule.
I look at the Seahawks, and there was lots of questions about Sam Darnold. It was interesting, Jefferson came out the other day, hey, I think we might have been better with Sam Darnold, and that's always nice, in hindsight. Sure, they had the young guy, whatever. NFL teams always want to go to their young guy right away, probably because, I could make a strong argument that the NFL's problem with allowing young quarterbacks to develop is they have to pay them so much as in their first few years anyway, because of where they're drafted, that you almost can't rest the guy, right? So it's in a way, it's almost like they're sabotaging themselves because you have to pay these high picks who haven't played a snap yet, massive amount of dollars, and you don't want to do that to have them hold a clipboard.
Yeah, and then even on the other end of that, if you see, guys 2-3 years in who have, moderate success, they're getting huge contracts. We just saw it with Tua Tagovailoa. We saw it, Jordan Love got paid. Jared Goff got a huge contract. You're having Jalen Hurts just got a huge contract. You're getting these huge numbers to where it's almost like, hey, all right, let's go take a chance on a guy that's only making $10 million. I think that's kind of where the Vikings were like, hey, do we want to pay Darnold $35-40 million? He did kind of struggle in the second half and the playoffs last year. Do we want to pay him $35-40 million, or do we want to take a chance on J.J. McCarthy, who's only making 7-8, whatever his number is? I don't have it off the top of my head. So it's almost twofold. You can't rest them because you have to waste a lot of draft capital usually on these top end quarterbacks, and then to pay them, it is a huge number. And I think that's kind of why we're seeing a lot of teams kind of stuck in limbo when they do end up paying these guys. It's hard to get free agents. It's hard to build a roster around them. So, yeah, I think the quarterback kind of dilemma in the league right now with paying guys, going young in the draft is a tough problem for teams when it comes to building out the rest of your roster. And I think that's kind of what the future is going to look like over the next 5 years of who manages that the best.
Awesome. Mark Jones is from The Athletic. Any other, I know the Super Bowl is obviously the big thing, of course, but is there any other storyline or is there a storyline about the game specific that intrigues you the most?
Yeah, I think, like I mentioned, the run game I think is big because nobody ever really talks about run games anymore. It kind of gets lost in the passing era. I think the Seahawks run game is huge too. The Patriots defense with Milton Williams on the field this year has been very good at stopping the run. The Seahawks aren't great at running. Kenneth Walker is a big time, big play, big explosive guy, but down to down, he's not. They haven't been efficient. And now Charbonnet is out. He was kind of their pass protector, so it kind of limits their offense a little bit. So I'm interested. That's kind of the two areas that run games are kind of boring now. And 2026, it's not flashy, but I think kind of whoever finds the explosives, whoever can kind of move the chains a little bit and not have both of these quarterbacks get into obvious passing situations probably comes out on top. It's kind of like you got the old run to throw. I'm not saying necessarily that, but being able to avoid the negative plays in run game and keep not necessarily get first downs, but get into third and manageable, I think is going to be the key for both offenses.
The Walker with Charbonnet out, he's going to get a ton of touches, even more so the guy's a big play guy. How much of an impact do you see him having in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think we might have just saw his best game as a pro in the NFC Championship game. He was fantastic. If we get a level of that, then the Patriots are going to be in for a tough Sunday evening. But yeah, he's always been that back. When he was at Michigan State, I thought he was, he's one of the best players in the country. I thought he was deserving of some Heisman votes, and we saw that he's explosive. I kind of think of him as not Saquon Barkley, but Saquon Barkley-esque, that at any moment he can make one cut, make a guy miss, and then boom, it's 20, 30 yards. He kind of has that style of running game. So, yeah, without Charbonnet, he's going to have to be in there in passing situations. If they can get him in space, what can he do? That's going to be, it's kind of an interesting bit here. They might change up their offense a little bit we haven't seen it that much with Walker being the lone back. So that's something the Patriots definitely have to keep their eye on, because he is that explosive outside of, they're an explosive offense, the Patriots. Jackson Smith and Jigga's great. Rashid Shaheed's explosive. Walker's the same thing. So that'll be interesting how they use him, or if they use him more in the passing game without Charbonnet.
Any other stories non-Super Bowl related that you're hearing or you're intrigued by so far this week?
Not necessarily like any like hot stuff, but the amount of coaching changes, it was a crazy cycle. Super interested with that, because there weren't a ton of offensive, we've had this offensive young offense coordinators get jobs over the last few years. The Shanahan and McDavid tree have kind of dominated the space, but this year there weren't a ton of those guys. Clint Kubiak, obviously the Seattle offense coordinator, was the biggest one going to Las Vegas, but it'll be interesting to see what does that change, because it's like 9 coaches, almost a third of the league is a new regime. So it'll be interesting to see how much that kind of sparks up how the offseason goes. If there's more trades, do we have more movement because head coaches are changing? That's kind of the storyline that I'm interested with heading into the offseason. With so much coaching turnover, do we kind of see some more roster movement? Because the NFL is not super big on trade. I wonder if that picks up this offseason.
Well, that's a really good point. Why do you think that is?
Why they don't trade as much?
Yeah.
Yeah, the shelf life in the NFL is not as long. That stat out there, it's like 3 years. I think it's partially that. And a lot of it is these guys come out of college at 22, and because of that shelf life, when they get through their rookie contract, 27, I don't know how, not that many guys are getting that big second contract. So I wonder if it's partially that, but I'm thinking like AJ Brown to the Eagles on draft night a few years ago. I could see, I wonder if we're starting to turn a little bit more towards that. Definitely for teams that are, with the new coaches, like, hey, let's try to get some fresh, maybe more draft capital, try to find a guy like AJ Brown, in the trade market. But I think it has to do with just the average career of an NFL player just isn't very long. And you get so many draft picks. I think teams will just rather take their shot in the draft and take a 28-year-old aging veteran.
Yeah, no, that's a very valid point. Very valid point. Who are you picking, Austin?
Yeah, Seattle. I think that front will be too much. I'll give them like 24-21. I'll give a score prediction.
Oh, close game. All right. Okay. Well, see. Awesome. Enjoy it, man. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Enjoy the game.
There you go. That's Austin Mock from The Athletic. Yeah, that was my mistake. I read when I was looking at it, I thought it was Austin Mack that we're having the Elks receiver on. So that was my faux pas, not Connor Hallis, early in the show. So sorry for the teaser. We'll get Austin Mack on the show soon, the new wide receiver for the green and gold. It's 2:57. Coming up, we are TR is going to join us. Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. We're going to hear from Coach Knobloch. We got Tater, Yaremchuk, Struddy, Speck. Busy Tuesday. Also, we're at 400 beans right now for the Oilers Maple Leaf tickets tonight. And you look online, you can't get a better deal than this. Man, people really ramp up their tickets for this. So it's all going to the Gregor Foundation if you want to go tonight to Lower Bowl. Oilers attack twice. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. We'll take a quick break. We'll come to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Fountain Tire, when we say we're on the road together, we mean it. From tires, wheels, oil changes to vehicle repairs. Visit fountaintire.com and find out more.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, Oilers taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 6:30. Pre-game coverage coming your way at 5:30. Connor Ingram gets to start for the Oil. Elsewhere, you got the Jackets and the Devils. Flyers host the Caps and in Carolina. Lightning host the Sabres. Penguins take on the Islanders. And the Ducks host the Kraken for the Olympics. Sam Bennett will replace injured Anthony Cirelli on Team Canada. In the association, a lot of trades today. Memphis Grizzlies trading forward Jaren Jackson Jr., John Concher, Jock Landale, and Vince Williams Jr. to the Utah Jazz for Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, George Niang, and 3 future first-round picks. Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit agreeing to a multi-team deal that sends Jaden Ivey and Mike Collins to the Bulls, Kevin Herter and Darius Arch to the Pistons. Detroit also receives a 2026 first-round pick swap from Minnesota, and the Chicago Bulls trading center Nikola Vukovic to the and a second-round pick to the Boston Celtics for Anthony Simmons, a second-round pick in the AGHL. One game tonight, Canmore hosting Old. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host and former NHLer Terry Ryan, also Dave McCarthy of SiriusXM NHL, and we'll hear Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Troll low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks. Ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy.
Tuesday, how are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440.
The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Are you looking for safe and professional transportation solutions for your group events and sports teams? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
If you're selling a vehicle, Sherwood Honda really wants to get your goat. We mean greatest offer of all time. Consign with Sherwood Honda, and they can sell your vehicle for you. All breeds, makes, and models, not just Hondas. You can let Sherwood Honda lock horns with those tough negotiators, and you'll reach the interested buyers that flock to Sherwood Honda every day. Sherwood Honda's the goat of selling vehicles, including yours. So someone Sherwood...
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people that know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Just after 3 o'clock on a lovely Tuesday afternoon as we inch closer to the Olympic. Actually, some Olympic events get going tomorrow and Thursday even. So we'll start tracking some of them. With the women's hockey, I think the first game is on Thursday. Opening ceremonies, of course, are Friday. But for some of the events, just to get everything done in time, a few of the events start a few days earlier. So there we have it.
Mixed doubles tomorrow.
Yes.
Curling, that is.
Yes. And also, Leon Draisaitl might be a flag bearer for Germany. I saw he had mentioned that. So he'll be the Oilers play the Flames tomorrow, and then he'll be jetting off on Thursday because it's kind of odd they're waiting this late. Like, why wouldn't you just make your announcement? Like, why do you have to wait till like the day before the event? But nonetheless, so he'll be jetting over there. That would be a huge anybody who gets to be a flag bearer would be great. As long as you don't have like 25% of your country being flag bearers. Like, I guess if you have 4 people, that's different. Then you're going to have 1 flag bearer. But when you have 7 flag bearers and you have 28 athletes, it might be a bit much. Just saying. Right? I know that that you've got the one main opening and then there's other ones in little areas. But still, 7 is too much. Sorry. It's way too much. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and tonight a few for you to get after the Connor Howley special, a Trent Frederick goal tonight at PlayAlberta.ca. Also, we got some involving the Scores, the Leafs, the Oilers, the Kraken. So all involved. So you can check it out at PlayAlberta.ca. Quickly, let's get to TR now as we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings in residential solar. They've installed more than 300 residential solar installments throughout Alberta, where you can get 10-year interest-free loan from the Government of Canada and paybacks between 6 to 8 years. So check it out at actionelectrical.net as we are joined by Terry Ryan, former NHLer, host of, not host, but stars as a hitch on Shoresy. TR, how you doing?
I'm all right. I'm on my way to bring my daughter to soccer, even though it's 2 snow days in a row. But soccer goes ahead.
Well, indoor soccer must be then?
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course. Indoor soccer. But, they've enjoyed the last couple of days. And both days, like, perfect if you're a kid, like, snowed up to, like, 11 or 12 o'clock, then fine. And then the exact same thing the next day, right? And a lot of snow.
Yeah,
a lot of snow. Couldn't see 5 feet in front of you, man. It was crazy. But very selective times of the day.
So, my question was going to be when you have a snow day out there in the Maritimes where you're at, like how much snow are we talking?
Oh, God, I guess it was 30 to 40 centimeters over the course of that time. But in Newfoundland is different because, like, it'll go up to, like, within the next week, it'll go up to 8 or 9 degrees and it'll all melt, which just makes for a mess. So it's not quite as cold as it gets out there, but it's just as messy in the winter. I wouldn't take one over the other. Right now I'm looking out and there's a couple of feet of snow down.
Oh, okay. What's the sense out there? Toronto's in town tonight, and they are currently on the outside looking in of the playoff picture, and not just a little bit, but the Bruins are 7 points ahead of them in the playoff race right now. They've each played equal amount of games. How much concern is there in Toronto land?
Yeah, man. Like, it's really funny because, like, a bounce or two earlier in the year, and like even 5 days ago, people are saying, well, obviously now you got to sell everything off, but right, you get a couple of wins, even though they're against lesser teams. Who knows? Maybe they get a bounce tonight and they get a point in Edmonton, and then all of a sudden, hey, what do you do? It's so close. If it's me, though, if I think personally, I'm not the GM of the Toronto Maple or anything close to it. But if I am, I think I've seen enough over the years. I think I would. I'm not saying I would get rid of Matthews if he's cool with it. Like, him and Nylander are stars, but where are they going to go? Like, if you were basketball, you could say, just put me on, trade me to LA Lakers or whatever. There's always a juggernaut. But, and I don't know. I think I think if I was Matthews, I'm just because obviously everything's going to have to go through him if he's not being traded himself. I think I'd be cool with it. Get some parts, maybe Morgan Riley. People are talking maybe a first rounder for Bobby McMahon, which I think on the surface sounds absurd. But I mean, the Leafs had to give up a first rounder for Lawton, didn't they, last year? People are going to be desperate at the deadline. I think you could moderately retool without having to get rid of your major stars in Toronto. And, you know, who knows? Maybe they do make the playoffs. I don't think so, but there's so many teams within, you know, the top of that funnel is very jammed up. So who knows?
Well, they're going to need a lot of help, man. Let's just be honest here, because Buffalo is rolling. The Boston Bruins are playing very well. If they're going to make it, they're going to Toronto's going to have to go in a big heater themselves, but also they're going to need a significant amount of help, man. That's just the reality.
And especially with Ottawa. I mean, Ottawa, all of their analytics line up to be, not all, but a lot of them near the top of the league. It's only for goaltending now. Omar came back. Seems to be, you know, I mean, I can't speak for what kind of peace of mind he has right now or his adversity that he faced off the ice. But, I mean, all it is like a good goalie away from Ottawa being like way up in the standings. So I'm with you. I don't think it would happen, but you're asking me for, I don't know if I think Chris Pronger used the term right down to the studs, which would mean get rid of everybody. I think you could make some moves in Toronto and come back next year with a legit, you know, playoff intentions. And the other thing, Noah, people aren't talking about it enough. Like, they lost Mitch Marner, obviously. Like, you know, I mean, people said this. I mean, I'm listening to all the sports shows. People are like, Toronto, maybe they'll do this, or maybe they don't have it. And who knows what it is? Maybe it's schedule. And, you know, yeah, they're losing Mitch Marner. He's a 100-point player, and he left for nothing. To me, that's a big part of this. We're talking about, look how close it is. I mean, you wouldn't have a few overtime goals, or I haven't looked at the exact stats, but I'm sure he would put you in a little better of a position, 2 or 3 points away, or maybe 10 points, whatever it would be. But to me, it's just glaring. You're losing one of the best players in the league. Obviously, you're going to get worse.
Yeah, no, that is totally valid. TR, we got a question. Hey guys, I'm just curious. I listen all the time. How did TR get into acting?
Yeah. Well, it was, I mean, the Cole's Notes version, it was kind of an accident. I went in, I went into school because I had that ankle injury and I couldn't go back and play pro hockey. So I had to do something, and it was in my contract with the Canadians. I can't remember, but they paid for some of my schooling if I went by a certain date. So I think it was 2009. So I went back and I got a folklore and English double major, Bachelor of Arts. I was going to be a teacher. Within that program, though, there was like a film studies certificate, which I didn't get, but I took a lot of courses on the way there. And that was it. Did some talking. And my buddy is Alan Hawko. Alan Hawko right now is on a show on CBC called St. Pierre. He used to be on Republic of Doyle, and he was the Jared Kiso of that show. So I asked him for a job, you know, not in front of the camera. I just anything. And at first it was like fetching coffee for the director. And I mean, like at first it was like 3 or 4 years of real backbreaking, either taking orders from people or go and make this for the afternoon, and we'll, you know, build stuff or whatever. That's kind of how I became a set dresser. But I was 6 years at least in that industry without even thinking of being on the other side of the camera. I slowly wrote a short film called The Stand-In, which you can see on YouTube. And I showed that to some directors and producers, and eventually we just kept writing and writing and writing. And most of the stuff you won't see got produced, but it, you know people in the industry. And so I got in that way. I ended up getting some minor roles. Now the big one was the very, very first scene on the show Frontier. It's on Netflix. You can check it out. 5 seconds into the show, episode 1, season 1. Jason Momoa gave me a chance because I had no tooth. Why don't fix it? I was on crew and, you know, doing the odd stunt, and he said, "Come on up here. We'll give you some lines." It wasn't just him. It was Hawko, who was a producer again, and Brad Payton and the team at Take the Shot Productions. And they basically gave me that shot at the very beginning. Now I spoke on camera. That got me into the union. And just like Jason Momoa said, don't fix that tooth, because acting is more about a look. You're never going to be Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver, but there's something there. And I kept it out, and I ended up getting like pimps, drug dealers, soldiers, guys who were beat up, a boxer, and then from there, Letterkenny. So, I mean, it was a lot of hard work, but it was also right place, right time, and a lot of good things had to happen.
TR, going to the Buffalo Sabres, we've talked a lot about the East. And I know Montreal, because obviously, being a former Hab, you watch the Habs very closely, and you look at that team. They're pretty comfortable right now. If you look at them, playoff spot, really, I guess they're 7 points up on Washington, and have a game in hand on the Caps, and then Columbus would technically, I guess, would be a team if Montreal gets caught by Buffalo or Boston. Then they're in the wild card, but they're in a pretty safe position. What do you think they need as an organization to make a decent run in the playoffs?
The Habs, you mean?
Yes.
Well, I'm pretty pumped too, because an unsung hero for them, that might be exaggerating, but definitely one of their diamonds in the rough is Alex Newhook from St. John's, Newfoundland, my good buddy, and he's coming back into the lineup soon. I'm more intrigued, like, what are they going to do with Laine? He doesn't fit on that team. He's gone soon, and that opens up, $9 million? So, I mean, what to do? I guess they can wait there and see, but I think he's gone after this season. Am I wrong, or does he have a year left? If he doesn't, then that's really intriguing to me. A team that's already up and coming and inspirational and young, and, I mean, a good number of those great players haven't hit their prime, and they're already real good. So I love the vibe in Montreal. I think they got some money to play around with after this, and the sky's the limit.
Yeah, well, yeah, Laine's 8.7 will come off the books, right? Brendan Gallagher's got 1 year left in his deal. Phil Deneau's got 1 year left in his deal. And you've got like Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield and Yuri Slavkovsky. Those guys are all locked up until 2030, 2031, and 2033. Even Lane Hudson, Noah Dobson. So yeah, they don't have any kind of like big contracts coming up, right? All their core guys are signed. So that definitely puts them in a good position. Now the problem is you can go out and get somebody, but there's really no free agents. Right? Like, that's just the truth here. There's not many big name free agents, I guess, unless Panarin is coming out. So they got to go and fill out the roster with quality players. But I think they probably feel like, hey, we've got Cole Caulfield, we've got our goal scorer, we've got some other guys. I just look at Montreal and I just still, like Demidov, I guess that's the one guy who will get a new contract in a few years, or Demidov, sorry, how to say it correctly. Other than that, though, they're looking pretty solid. Is there a type of player, though, you think they need to grab at the deadline? Do they got to get bigger?
Definitely. They definitely need that. I mean, they're exciting, but I think they're built to fizzle out after a round or maximum two. Again, I could be wrong. Maybe they'll go further this year. The year that they made the finals 5-6 years ago, I mean, no one saw that coming. But those are outliers. I think the problem with the Canadians oftentimes, I mean, I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. And they get rid of guys like Darcy Tucker, or I don't know, myself, or Aaron Asham. We were all there, right? That era was no different. We were all there. Like, just for some reason, they tend to hang on to guys that, I'll take me out of the equation. I mean, my career is a blip in the radar, but they did choose me for a reason. Brad Brown, right? Turner Stevenson, Tux, Chris Murray. They had all of us. And they got rid of us like at the drop of a hat. And it always tends to happen. It's like they're never really sold. They never go all in on having a team of guys that can play two-way and that are two-way tough. Nowadays, tough means something a little bit different than it used to. But Brendan Gallagher's tough. I mean, there's guys, and it's certainly not Laine. And a lot of the other guys, they're just whippersnappers that I think need players like that around them. Can they step it up? For sure. But you're not going to ask any of the guys that you just mentioned to lead the way physically. And I just think at some point, I don't think it, I know it. Look at every single team that wins the Stanley Cup. We don't have to speculate here. And again, at the trade deadline, a lot of guys will go, like last year's Scott Lawton or whoever it might be, because, they just, guys like that are durable and they tend to be playoff ready. And it's every single season. Look back at who wins it. And it's never a team, starting with the Red Wings. I think Nick Lidstrom was the first European captain to win. And people are, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. They're going too European. but they didn't. Detroit probably are the best example of that kind of mix that I could ever bring to your attention. Yzerman, Lidstrom, of course, Hudson, Demidov, whatever. But then you got your Maltbys and you got your McCartys and you got your Drapers and you got your Attitude and you got your Yzerman that's taken a fourth line role if he got to, whatever it takes. Changed his whole game around to be more two-way in the second part of his career, which he was the most successful. So, I mean, it's easy said. I don't know if it's easy done, but, if you're the brass in Montreal, you can definitely go out and find some guys with some balls.
Yeah, well, that's well said. I think it's something that they need. Matchups matter in the playoffs, right? And what's the one big advantage that Montreal will have is, Detroit hasn't been in the playoffs in a long time. Buffalo obviously hasn't been in the playoffs in a long time. Boston had a little bit of run, but they're kind of a newer team. Not a lot of their guys have been in the postseason. So it's not like Montreal, unless they fall to a wild card spot, is going to have to face the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round, right? I guess they could if Detroit somehow finishes first, which I guess is still possible, but Tampa Bay has 4 games in hand and they're in the lead. So, you know what I mean? Like you're not going to have, the biggest complaint, and I do think it's valid, if you get into the playoffs and you're kind of a young and upcoming team and you're facing a team that's still good and has a ton of experience, that's a big disadvantage.
Yeah, man, it really, or if you look long-term, it could be an advantage. Speaking of Edmonton, I mean, I've heard Wayne Gretzky say it 1,000 different ways, but I remember him saying when they first got up and played against the New York Islanders, and when they walked out afterwards and they looked over and the Islanders where it was pretty much quiet and they all had ice bags and the Islanders had won. And everybody, not every story has to do with toughness like that, but, it opened a bunch of guys very similar. I mean, the Oilers were all young, around the same age-ish coming in, and that would have been new to them, even though they were about to take the hockey world by storm. I don't know if Montreal is about to do that, but a lot of those guys happen to come in on the same wavelength. I mean, you saw it in Chicago with Taves and Kane and Seabrook and Duncan Keith, all those guys. Pittsburgh, right, without naming every guy, it's obvious. It happens, and you get, sometimes you just hit that lightning in a bottle and the perfect storm of things to go right. So if I'm the Canadiens again this year, I think at this point I'd be disappointed if I didn't make the playoffs, but their best days are ahead. So however far they can get, it's bonus, however much playoff experience, bonus. And you might play a team like Tampa Bay and it might open a guy like Hudson's eyes even more so than it would be if it was Detroit. I mean, who knows? Me, of course, I'd rather take the team that's less experienced. But there are advantages when you're a young team with so much talent, albeit inexperience.
Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan with you, Sports 1440. We'll return. Dave A. McCarthy will join us on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hear ye. Dragon fruit has returned to Booster Juice. Prepare thyself for the legendary alchemy of the Dragon Slayer Smoothie, Pink Dragon Booster Mixer, and Dragon Booster Ball. Yeah, does the dragon taste like chicken? Nay, Booster Juice uses only delicious tropical dragon fruit. No dragons are harmed. Get thee to Booster Juice before dragon fruit vanishes once more.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
There's a lot of great seasons in Alberta. Hockey season, harvest season, the winter season, and the even more winter season. But GS Construction is already preparing for our next great season, because while the city slows down, we plan ahead. Projects, people, and pipelines. Everything starts taking shape for another strong year underground. We're also getting ready for our next hiring season in March. We want new people who want to build something that lasts. For more on us and to apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpot's Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Friday night calls for a family fun that's second to none, starting with a big party.
It's the Oil Kings mascot Louie's birthday bash, presented by Bloom Benefits.
Edmonton faces the Moose Jaw Warriors. Local mascots will be in the house for Louie's big day, and every fan in attendance gets a card for their chance to win a fun Louie prize.
Plus, 4 Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is lion-sized.
Oil Kings Warriors, Louie's birthday bash, Friday at 7.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Something's happening. Something big. The Service Big Share Contest is back, where just by saving money with Service Credit Union, you could win $1 million. From now until the end of April, the more money you save with us, the more chances you have to win. The Service Big Share Contest. Isn't it time to feel good about your money? The Service Big Share Contest ends April 30th, 2026. No purchase required. For information and rules, visit service.ca/win.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
We roll through Tuesday afternoon, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you are having a fantastic afternoon. Oilers getting set to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. And the Oilers looking to do something that they've only done once in franchise history. Way back in 1989. The year after Wayne Gretzky left. They won the season series against the Maple Leafs. They've only ever done it once, 1989. But they beat the Maple Leafs earlier this year, 6-3 in Toronto. And tonight they have an opportunity to keep pace in the Pacific Division with Vegas. But more importantly, sweep the Leafs. See if they can do it. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. As we get to Dave McCarthy, as we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Spruce Grove Saints. Exciting BCHL action. The Saints been on the road a lot, but they're home. I got some home games coming up here later on this month, actually later on this week. So get your tickets, sgsaints.ca. As we get to Dave A. McCarthy. Davey, how you doing?
I'm trying to recover from you blowing my mind right there. The Leafs haven't lost a season series to the Oilers since 1989.
Yeah, like they split a lot of them, but the Leafs have actually swept it a few times. Edmonton has never swept it.
Yeah, I know. Like since they moved to the Eastern Conference, they only play each other twice a year, but still, that is wild because the Leafs, as you might be aware, Jason, from 2005 to about 2016 were, as Louis Domingue might say, not the best. Now, mind you, the Oilers weren't great themselves either, but that's a wild stat. That's a great pull by you, buddy.
Oh, well, thanks, buddy. I like to do my research. So it's an odd one to me that they haven't been able to do it. Now, the Maple Leafs, look, they're still 7 points back of Boston. They've won games in Vancouver and Calgary, and frankly, games they have to win to get back in the race. But the problem is when you're out of the race, Dave, and you're chasing, when you've got teams like Buffalo who keep winning and winning big games against Florida, it's really hard to make up ground.
It's just about impossible. Look, if you're going to make up ground, games against the worst team in the league in the Vancouver Canucks and a team, quite frankly, not far from the worst team in the league in the Calgary Flames are non-negotiable. You had to win those. They squeaked by Vancouver. They hung on against Calgary. So that was good. But winning games against teams that are non-negotiable will not be enough to get them to where they want to be. So you need to beat teams that are good teams, like the Edmonton Oilers tonight. This is straight facts. They have no choice at this point. They played their lousy card the first 25 games, and quite frankly, they tried to play it again on that homestand where they went 0-4-1. You cannot afford to lose many more games at this point. So, look, I will sit here and say that I am still not at all confident that Toronto will find a way to make the playoffs. They just have too many teams to pass and too much ground to make up. 7 points on Boston. And quite frankly, to me, Jason, Boston looks like a pretty solid team. I like their goaltending more than Toronto's right now. I like their back end more than Toronto's right now. I like what they have going on up front more than Toronto's right now. So, yeah, I don't see Boston cratering. And then you still got to pass Washington. You still got to pass Columbus. You still got to pass Ottawa. I still think the right play is to look at what you can get for some of these assets that they have right now that would have value. And if you take a step back, I mean, ideally you have your first round pick, but they don't in the trade for Brandon Carlo unless they fall into the bottom 5, which I think might be too much ground to make up in a reverse direction, if you know what I mean. But I still think you got to look at guys like Bobby McMahon. You got to look at guys like Simon Benoit, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and see what you can get for them. And if you can get some futures, then you can use that in the summertime to try to get some guys that can help you now next fall and sort of retool your roster a little bit. Because I think right now the Leafs have too many guys that are like 8 to 12 goal scorers outside of Austin Matthews and William Nylander. They just don't have nearly enough game-breaking type players. So they need to retool their roster. But if you've got Matthews and McDavid, fever dream. Matthews and Nylander on the roster, you still have to try to contend.
Well, yeah, there's no question to me they have to try to contend. I see a lot of people, they're like, I can't believe people think that you get a first for Bobby McMahon. I'm like, well, why not?
Why not?
Guy's going to score 25 goals. You gave up a first for Scott Lawton. Now, Scott Lawton, to his credit, did have a 69-point season, right? But Scott Lawton's is getting older. I look at Bobby McMahon and the reason you might not get it first is very little salary retention, if any. Like the guy's a $1.35 million cap hit, right? So even if you get him to retain half of that, like, are you joking? Like, that's unreal. It's like, $650K in the playoffs, give or take 675, I guess it would be. I know that the league, this I know, having talked to two different general managers, is that when they spoke to Brad, they said, hey, last time I spoke to Brad, which was late last week, he wasn't interested. He was like, no, we're still moving forward. And which was the right answer, because why would he rush to trade a player? Hey, who knows? Maybe they win tonight and, they win 3 games coming out of the break and suddenly they're 2 points back. It can happen. We've seen other teams do it. So there's no rush for him to do it. But at the same time, I'm sure privately he's thinking, okay, if we're not in it by March 1st or 2nd, then I got 3 days to look at making some trades.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, if they win tonight, it's possible. And they've got Florida and Tampa coming out of the break. And, Tampa's got just about everybody at the Olympics. Florida's got a bunch of guys at the Olympics. So maybe you catch them, not being at their best. There's a chance that they could close the gap a little bit. And then, you see what happens. I still don't think they're a cup contender. And that's really what it should be all about in Toronto right now, not just squeezing into the playoffs. But that's a different topic. Probably we don't have the time to get into it right now. But in saying that, you still have time if you get to a few days, a week before the trade deadline in early March, where you determine that, okay, we are out. You'll still be able to cultivate a pretty good market for a guy like Bobby McMahon. And look, I said it to somebody last night on Twitter, because I said the goal should be a first for Bobby McMahon if you move him at minimum. And the guy told me, wow, Vancouver couldn't get a first for Brock Besser last year. Well, yeah, Brock made 6+. Bobby makes, as you pointed out, 1-3. So the trade deadline, Jason, is desperation and passion free from logic. In no world is Bobby McMahon really worth a first-round pick. But if you're a team that feels like you're a Bobby McMahon away in your top 6, top 9 from really cementing your team as a true legitimate cup contender, the hell with the first-round pick. Sure, cool, because we need that guy. Would you make that move on July 15th? No, you wouldn't. But July 15th is different than March 5th. And so that's why I think when you look at what Bobby McMahon represents, he's still a guy that basically plays for free. He's going to score 25 goals. He can fly. Like, he has had a faster speed burst this year than Connor McDavid. Think about that for a second. Okay, so he can fly. He's big. He's got some bite to his game. Like, if you think you're that kind of a winger away in your top 6, top 9, you don't think you're paying a first-round pick? 100% you are. So that should be the goal for Toronto, because I do think Bobby McMahon is a really, really quality player. The only knock against him is that we've never really seen it in the playoffs. And I will say that last year during the playoffs, he was disappointing. But you hope he used what he learned last year during the playoffs, his first go around really in the Stanley Cup playoffs, as experience to make himself better here moving forward into this year.
TR?
Dave, I can't see you, but I bet you're wearing a nice hat.
Not as good as John Cooper's, though. I will tell you, Terry, I have an outfit in mind the next time the Tampa Bay comes to town. Okay, and I'm going to hold it up to the camera right now. This is a value add for those of you watching on YouTube. Okay, and I'm going to ask John tomorrow if he will kill me if I show up wearing it. So, yes, I'm wearing a nice hat.
I liked his depth as well. Why do you think Brendan Shanahan would be a good fit in Nashville?
Brendan Shanahan would be a terrific fit in Nashville for a multitude of reasons. Number one, the Nashville Predators have basically done things the same way for 30 years. They, I think to an extent, and it's no fault on them really, but I think you have to look at where they are and realize that it's time for change. They have been such an organization that listens to so few outside of itself. They've had, David Poyle is their GM for basically their entire existence, but for the last 3 years with Barry Trotz. And Barry Trotz was the head coach, who was the head coach in Nashville for basically their entire existence until he left to go to Washington. They need new ideas in Nashville. You just do. You need to get some competing interests where someone else has a different idea. And not saying that everything that they've done is bad at all. I think they've done some really good things in Nashville, and they've been a relatively consistent team, but really never a cup contender outside of that 1 year that they tripped into the Stanley Cup final. They need some competing ideas to broaden the way they approach things. So they need to hire someone outside the organization. That is paramount. Do not hire an assistant general manager that is currently with the team. Do not hire somebody that is currently involved with the team. Bring someone in from outside the organization so that you get some competing viewpoints at the table, and better ideas and more ideas are better, so that you can parse what you have and then come up with the best approach moving forward. So they need to hire somebody outside the organization. If they do that, Terry, there is no one better than Brendan Shanahan right now. Did they win in Toronto under Brendan Shanahan's leadership? No. But what did they do? Remember back to the period of time prior to Brendan Shanahan getting here in 2014. Not only were they a joke on the ice, but it was a sideshow, a circus almost every day with one thing or another. And as soon as Brendan Shanahan got to town, quite honestly, I was thinking about this last week when we got back to a period here in Toronto where it did seem like every day there was a different sideshow with the Willie Nylander finger and the Matthews not talking business and all of that. That went away when Brendan Shanahan was here. So he brought a level of professionalism and just calm to the organization, which really, really behooved them. And I was told by somebody last week that it seems like within the organization right now here in Toronto, now that Brendan Shanahan is not here anymore, it's almost like dad's out of town and the kids are running their own show. And to an extent, at times, it seemed a little bit like a rudderless ship. And some of the things that we've had to contend with that I'm just not used to contending with over the last 10 years. So that would help. If he could do it in Toronto, we can do it in Nashville. And if you can bring a guy like Brendan in and, you're in the playoffs every year, there's value in that. A lot of teams would trip over themselves to have what Toronto had over the last decade, where they would show up in September and you knew they were in the playoffs. And outside of all of those reasons, Brendan's just a really smart guy. Like he really, really is. He does the work. He studies the marketplace. He understands what's important where he is. Like Darryl Sittler said last week when he was honored for the 50th anniversary of his 10-point game, he said Brendan deserves a ton of credit for bringing Dave Keon back into the fold, who had been ostracized from the Leafs organization as a result of conflict during the Harold Ballard years. He found a way to bring Dave Keon back in, and that mattered. So if you're looking at all those things and all those reasons why you need to hire somebody as a head of hockey operations, and you look at the candidates available right now, with what he's done at the league, with what he's done with the Leafs, and probably the hardest market in the game, I mean, I can't think of a better candidate than Brendan Shanahan in a market where if it's going well, it's a market where you can do a lot in. It's not one where it's difficult to get guys to come. So as persuasive as he is, I think he can convince guys to come to Nashville. I honestly think he would be a home run with the Predators right now. I really do. And it's not just, because he was here in Toronto. I think he did a really good job. Was he perfect? No, absolutely not. But man, 10 years with the Leafs, the way they were in the playoffs every year, careful what you wish for when he's out of town now, because the Leafs have not been nearly as good this year without him in the fold.
No, not at all. Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM joins us. Davey, what about Morgan Riley? Would they be like, do they got to revamp their defense if things don't go well here in the next 2 weeks? And would they ever consider moving him?
I think they would. Look, Morgan has a full no move clause. And has he been good this year? Not so good. Like, he's not at the level that you'd like him to be for the kind of money that he makes. Is he playing too high in the lineup at this point in his career? Maybe a little bit. Is he still a good player used in a proper situation? I also think so. But I don't think he's a guy that can play 23 minutes a night against the other team's top players anymore. I think if you can use him in selective situations, I think he can be a really good sort of, 4-5 guy, 3-4-5 type guy, because he can still move the puck quite well. But I don't want him on the ice against other teams' top lines. Now, they have to be careful with how they handle this, because Morgan has earned the right to call a shot. I mean, he was negotiated in good faith, a no-move clause, and you got to be careful about how you approach guys who hold those clauses. You look at New York with the Rangers, I think they went about it the complete wrong way with the Jacob Trouba situation and the Chris Kreider situation, because that stuff gets around the league. And then it makes guys think twice about coming to that franchise, especially when it's a guy of the pedigree of a Trouba or a Kreider in New York or a Morgan Riley in Toronto. What did we hear about the whole time last year? It was that, Mitch Marner isn't really happy here and he's looking at houses when he's on the road and all this. And there was always some like butting of heads with the media and, all that nonsense, right? You never hear that from Morgan Riley, ever. Like, he never complains. He is always available. When he speaks quite honestly like a captain. He doesn't duck responsibility. And he's a guy that I know truly loves being a Leaf. When I asked him prior to the season about all the nonsense about, it's too much pressure to play in Toronto and all that, he said, stop. Just stop. He said, if you want to win, you want to do it somewhere where it matters. And if you want to do it somewhere where it matters, you want to do it here in Toronto. And that clip blew up. And so, careful about running guys like that out of town. You really have to be careful about it. But in saying that, I do think you should have a conversation with him in the offseason and say, where are we at right now? Would you be interested in moving elsewhere? Do you see, he's been here a long time. It's a long time to be in one city. I think it's 13 years now. In Toronto, let alone it's a long time. So I think you have to approach him. And I think if he was available, you mean to tell me he couldn't be an Oliver Ekman-Larsson on the Florida Panthers? You know what I mean? That would be a tremendous fit for him in that type of a scenario. If the Leafs eat some money, there would be a market for him. I think you have to approach him. But I would caution management to be careful how you do that to a guy that's given as much to the team as he has and been a very good player as he has for a long, long time now. You don't want to be a team that develops a reputation for running guys like that out of town, because I will say he is very well respected in the room as well. And just like Jacob Trouba was and Chris Kreider in New York, and you rip guys like that out, sometimes it can have an adverse effect.
Davey, have a good one. Quickly, what do you make bad news for Anthony Cirelli? Sam Bennett's in, so one center's out, one center's in. What do you make that decision? And what are your thoughts on Braden Point?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I feel bad for Anthony, like you really do. I mean, who knows if he's going to get another Olympic chance or not. Can't play, so they go to a guy that they're familiar with in Sam Bennett at the Four Nations last year. Could you have made the case that they got enough centers on their roster right now that you could have turned to a guy like Zach Hyman? Yeah, you probably could have made that case. Like, Zach's playing really, really well. And who knows, once they determine whether or not Braden Point can go, maybe you turn to a guy like Zach. I feel bad for Zach as well, quite honestly, because he's played so well. He's probably earned a spot. You can only take so many guys. But I can't say that I am against Sam Bennett, being on the team. We saw what he was able to do when the stakes were high during the Stanley Cup playoffs last year in Florida. We saw what he was able to do with the Four Nations. John Cooper is abundantly familiar with him, both coaching him and coaching against him in the Battle of Alligator Alley. So I'm not surprised really that they went to a guy that they're familiar with. And I would expect Sam to be good. He wasn't good in the first sort of 6 weeks of the year. He's been pretty damn good ever since. So doesn't really surprise me.
Davey, have a good one, buddy. We'll talk to you Sunday on the brunch, and then next week when the Olympics are officially on.
Can't wait for it. See you, boys.
There you go. That's Dave A. McCarthy, Sirius XM. Quick break. Come back. 5 questions. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440s, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
It only comes once a year.
Aw, Valentine's Day.
What? No, from the top. It only comes once a year.
Oh, here we go. The Rock and Roll Super Party, only at On the Rocks.
Join host Ryan Jesperson on Sunday, February 8th.
At OTR for the biggest football party in Edmonton.
Your $30 ticket includes
all-you-can-eat buffet, commemorative t-shirts, prepaid Miller Lights, and entry to all prizes, including
$1,000 cash.
The Rock and Roll Super Party.
Only at On the Rocks.
Book your table today.
OnTheRocksYEG.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EWEL. Get your power play amped up with EWEL, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EWEL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.352. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Terry Ryan, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. We got, you know what I love about the past? Oilers fans are all fired up. Some of the texts I can't even read. You guys are a little, not even PG today. A few R-rated texts in regards to people being fired up about Dave's thoughts on the Maple Leafs. So I love it. That's why I said it earlier. The Oilers have never played the Maple Leafs in the playoffs. They only play 2 times a year now. For lots of times they didn't. They only used to play like early on in the salary cap era. They played 1 time a year, and some years they didn't play. So, but yet, I think the last decade, since the arrival of McDavid, I think just the disdain for Oiler fans for Toronto and probably the media around Toronto has to be near the top of all teams. And I'm fine with it. You don't have to apologize. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think it just adds to the rivalry. Like Oiler fans, like you want to beat Toronto bad. I get it. I totally understand it. Get a little tired of them. Guys, like it's comical to consider that for years, not like a one-time, off-the-cuff comment, but for years, Sportsnet, TSN analysts, radio hosts, they firmly believe they wanted to have the McDavid versus Matthews conversation, and they believed it was true. It's wild. Wild. It's not true. Heck, I would take Leon Draisaitl over Matthews. Not even close. What about you, TR? We don't have them. We'll see. But to me, maybe we got disconnected with them. I don't know. But to me, that's what I find somewhat comical. And I think it's fantastic that Oiler fan. Hey, if you get juiced up on a February 3rd regular season game because it's Toronto, that's what you need. Awesome. What did Matthias Ekholm say yesterday for the players? It's hard to get emotionally up for every game. You as a fan, you can't get emotionally up for every game. You just don't. Right? Even though you try to, you're not. But the Toronto, it comes naturally. Automatically, you are more fired up for tonight's game than you are for a lot of other regular season games. And that's fantastic. Right? That's fantastic. That's what you need. You want a few games and then tomorrow it's Calgary. Right? Like it's Calgary. It's easy to be like, God, even though the Flames stink, you still want to pound them. You probably got buddies in Calgary, got some friends, maybe, your family's in Red Deer. They're like in the border town. Which one do I hate or like? It's awesome. So, you know what? I love the fact that people get that amped up about the Leafs. Because it's not like the rivalry's that much on the ice. Like you pay twice a year. Now, the Oilers fans, you know what's funny? Like the Leafs have kind of handed it to you. As I mentioned, the Oilers haven't swept the season series since 1989. It's only ever happened once. Heck, the Leafs have swept the season series 6 times in the last 15 years. So, it is a big deal. And I can see why the text line people are fired up. Some of them I can't even read, but that's okay. Right? It's always good. I appreciate the ones I can't read because it still gives me a good laugh. It's just fun. Like rivalry games are great, whether it's for fans, whether it's for teams. Like, I don't know if I think Connor McDavid, when he goes to Toronto, obviously he wants to beat the Maple Leafs, no question, right? He grew up a Leafs fan. He talked about it in his article yesterday. Like that's normal. He's not a Leafs fan anymore, but he was, right? And now you look at it like the Oilers, hey, they want to win tonight. They want to play better defensively, but they also know, like, they're not stupid. You look at the standings, TR, and it's near. They say, hey, we beat Toronto. We're just, we're the nail isn't in the coffin, but we can take a pretty good swing at it if you can beat them in regulation tonight. You just add to that nail going deeper into the coffin.
Oh, for sure. And you also are aware that you let in 7 goals last game. For me, I would be, you got to tidy it up going into the break. The break's going to be exciting for a lot of players, but I just think you can't lose sight of that. And Toronto aren't coming in limping, but close to it. And if I'm the Oilers, that would be my mindset. But I'd want to get on them right away because, as you can see, with Willie Nylander, scored on the first shift. I think that was like the second or third time he's done that in the last 10 games he's played. I don't know. For me, Toronto play a lot worse when you don't give them a chance to begin with.
Yeah, no, that's valid. Hey guys, what's your thoughts? Why would Janmark not come out over Lazar? Pete, that, you know what? That's a totally fair question. I think it's a very fair question. What the hell has Matthias Janmark done lately that's better than Curtis Lazar?
A whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, he's not hitting. He's not scoring. Like, he skates fast. Okay, that's great. But You know, and he's on the penalty kill, but so is Lazar. And Lazar can start the penalty kill because he can take a face-off. Janmark never starts the penalty kill. He's never on the first unit. So are you telling me they couldn't? I think it's a totally fair question as to why, you know, Lazar's always the one getting the press box and never Janmark. It's a totally valid question. I don't think Janmark is doing that much more than Lazar at all. Right? Do you?
Oh, yeah. No. I'm totally with you. I wouldn't even blink at that decision. But when Lazar's out there, he's out there usually with a purpose. I find that's lacking a little bit with Janmark lately. I mean, there's a lot of blah in his game. I don't want to, you know, he's done some good things. But for me, you're looking at two of those guys, where they're going to play tonight and how much energy given, you know, they're probably not going to get out there with top 6 minutes, right? So I would put Lazar in for sure. I like his spunk, his energy, and he seems to come out popping. He comes out, even though he doesn't have a great finish, it just seems like he's been bearing down lately, whether it's to hit or to cycle the puck, but he seems on,
Yeah, like I've liked his game. And I just, like Janmark, and I understand that Janmark's played well in the playoffs. And for a team that wants to win the cup, I get it. But at some point, right, like, you know, and I've heard some rumblings that maybe he's got some shoulder issues. And so, like, because he can't score TR. Like, he cannot score. He scores more in the funny thing is he actually scores more in the playoffs than he has in the regular season. Now, that's not saying much because he barely scores in the regular season. But I do look at Janmark and say, hey, like, they need more from him. There's just, you know, he skates fast. I get all of it. But I look in his last 120 regular season games, he has 3 goals. He had 3 goals in the playoffs last year, had 4 goals the year before. So he has 7 goals so if you go back to the start of the 23-24 season, where he has played 191 games, he has 7 goals in 191 regular season games, and then he has 7 goals in 47 playoff games. Like, his playoff numbers, I have no problem with. None whatsoever. Like, that's a guy that's on pace for 11, 12 goals in a season. Awesome. But in the regular season, like, the guy is basically non-existent offensively. Like, at some point, you have to do something, don't you?
Yeah, well, you know, you want to make an impact for sure. You want to get out there and do something. I know his numbers are abysmal, given the fact that he plays on the Oilers, who generally, and I know he's not on the first line or two, but yeah, you would think, like, you know, that at some point that would pop, like the goals. You know what I mean? You're just on the ice on the Edmonton Oilers for a full season. You know, last year, 80 games, 2 goals. I don't know, man. But yeah, there are intangibles, like you said. I mean, he's fast. I guess there's a whole lot of analytics that would support putting them there, or else he wouldn't be there. But I'm taking, honestly, just my test alone right now, where we are, I would take Lazar without even thinking about it, given the 2 choices.
Yeah, I agree. Just the way he's going now, like, you can't always just look to the same guys. To me, I think if you want to shake up your room a bit, and I've always believed that if you're just changing out 4th liners, it's not doing much, right? And hey, I'm not saying there's anyone in the top 9 that should come out, no chance. But, you know, if you're putting Mangiapane in, I think it's a fair question to at least ask, why is it Lazar always and never Janmark? So just a thought. Quick break. We'll return. Cam Tate joins us. We got Yaremchuk and more. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. But first, we get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by meals.loca.ca. Every fresh chef-crafted gourmet meal is handcrafted from scratch with fresh ingredients and arrives at your door, fully cooked and ready to heat, eat, and repeat. Meals.loca.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's the game day. Oilers Leafs down at Rogers Place. Puck drop 6:30. Pre-game coverage here on Sports 1440 gets going at 5:30 with Andrew Walker. Elsewhere, you got the Jackets and the Devils, Flyers, Caps, Sens in Carolina, Lightning hosts the Sabres, Penguins taking on the Islanders, and the Ducks up against the Kraken. In the associations of trades of note, Memphis Grizzlies trading forward Jaren Jackson Jr., John Conter, Jock Landale, and Vince Williams Jr. to the Utah Jazz for Walter Payton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, George Yang, Ying, and 3 future first-round picks. Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit agreeing to a multi-team deal that sends Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. to the Bulls, Kevin Herter and Dario Saric to the Pistons. Detroit also received a 2026 first-round protected swap from Minnesota. On the court, you got the Nuggets taking on the Pistons, Pacers host the Jazz, Knicks in Washington, Celtics take on the Mavericks, Bucks, Bulls, Sixers, Warriors, and then Trailblazers. Suns in the AJ1 game tonight, Canmore hosting Olds. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Tyler Yaremchuk of Oilers Nation, Jason Strudwick, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The future of female hockey is here. It's season 2 of the Female Super League, the first ever female-only independent hockey division in Western Canada, with teams from British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Featuring 16U, 14U, and 12U divisions, the FSL brings showcase weekends packed with thrilling games, and our 14U and 16U have been pioneering the advanced body checking rule, empowering young players. The Female Super League, where the best in female hockey takes center ice. Details at femalesuperleague.com.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
A lovely...
Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Hey, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening to your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part
Tuesday
of the
afternoon.
job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca.
Terry Ryan, Sports.
And let's get to work for you.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I'm obviously going to get the McVeggie, medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. It's my favorite meal and it's new. Plus, if I get that, maybe he'll want it too. And then he'll always thank me for introducing him to the McVeggie. I'll be a hero.
So, McVeggie fries and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a McVeggie meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
These days, it's all about who you know. And that's why it's the perfect time to save at the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. Upgrade your living room in time for the big game and score free delivery on TVs over 50 inches, like a Samsung 85-inch 4K Smart TV for just $9.99. And save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals. And mix and match and save up to $1,000 off 2 or more major appliances. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick in Edmonton South Common, West Edmonton Mall, north side on 137th, and downtown near the Ice District.
If you're selling a vehicle, Sherwood Honda really wants to get your goat. We mean greatest offer of all time. Consign with Sherwood Honda, and they can sell your vehicle for you. All breeds, makes, and models, not just Hondas. You can let Sherwood Honda lock horns with those tough negotiators, and you'll reach the interested buyers that flock to Sherwood Honda every day. Sherwood Honda's the goat of selling vehicles, including yours. So someone Sherwood...
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. It's Terrific Tuesday. Get 40% off any regular price pizza when you use the code word 40 Tuesday at the start of each pizza order at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
4:08. As we make our way through Tuesday afternoon, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. We're up to $450 now on our tickets for tonight's game from Big Baby. He has the latest bid in at $450 for the Oilers and the Maple Leafs tonight. If you want to go, it's helping out the Gregor Foundation, 833-401-1440. We're going to end it at 5 o'clock, so you got a little bit more time to make sure you get down there because, of course, the game starts at closer to 6:40 tonight. So keep that in mind. We'll have Yaremchuk coming up right away, Struds. We got Speck. We got Walker. So basically, we got an extended pregame show. Lots of order talk. Maybe mix a little NFL and some other stuff here today. 5 questions as well as Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, Max, $25 million. I've noticed a few Alberta people have won lately. Good for you. Hopefully it's one of you. It'd be sick to have one of our listeners win that. That'd be fantastic. I'd love it. Hope you throw a party. Be great. Good times. Good times. So get your tickets at playalberta.ca. As we get to the oil report, brought to you by Go Auto, cars, trucks, SUVs, you name it, they got it. Over 15,000 vehicles to choose from, 71 different locations. GoAuto.ca, your place to look for a vehicle, as Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff joins us as Ty, preparing yourself, man, for the golf Olympics. You're going to risk it going down to Arizona, I hear.
Yeah, me and my buddies are going to fly down later on tomorrow. It's one of those things where, like, again, there's that little pocket of time before the Olympics starts. I'll be doing a lot of the Olympic coverage for DFO, and I kind of said, hey, if I can get away for a few days and watch that waste management tournament down in Phoenix, I'm going to take advantage of it. So I'm pretty fired up.
Well, pace yourself down there, buddy. I went down. We went for the Post Malone concert a few years ago, and I'd been there even before that, and it's wild to me. I know that they actually last year they had to cut off the entries because they just had too many people coming in. So I think they had to rejig that now. So hopefully, because it was just too many people and too many people that were intoxicated. So, but the 16th hole is super fun. So try to get there early to get to that.
Yeah, it should be fun.
The Oilers take it on the Maple Leafs, and we'll see Bobby McMahon. I've reiterated that as of right now, there has been zero discussion between the Oilers and the Maple Leafs on Bobby McMahon. Not because the Oilers don't have interest, because the Leafs right now, their GM isn't ready to say he's not throwing up the white flag yet. And I understand it. He's got some time to see what happens here. Maybe they can go on a run. It's a big maybe, but I get why a GM of a team that wasn't expected to be in this position isn't going to rush to be a seller. But where do you come out on Bobby McMahon?
I like Bobby McMahon. I mean, a lot of the metrics kind of check a lot of boxes that I think the Oilers should be looking for. When you watch him play, he looks like a very, very fast player. Then you go look at the NHL numbers and it's like, yep, he's in the 98th, 99th percentile for a lot of those speed metrics that the NHL tracks. He's a guy who at times can bring a little bit of physicality and scoring touch as well, right? Like ever since he's stepped into the NHL, he's found a way to be a relatively consistent goal scorer. And I think what the Oilers should be most attracted to is the fact that he's a goal scorer who doesn't just do all that scoring on the power play. Now, again, we've had guys roll through town who fit that same description and they haven't quite worked out. But still, for McMahon, an Alberta boy, to be a pending UFA, to be a cap hit at $1.35 million, that would be very, very easy for the Oilers to fit in. And a piece that I think can play up and down your lineup a little bit. It makes sense that they'd be all over him. And if the Leafs sell, I would imagine Edmonton's going to be one of the first teams calling if they make McMahon available.
Well, yeah, especially because his current cap hit is like nothing, right? 1.35, and if you retain half. And the great part of that is if you retain half, he's like, $675K in the playoffs, which is, cheaper than the. Now, I wonder, I guess by rule of the law, if it's 50% of what his cap hit is, then he's $675K in the or whatever it would be, maybe a little bit higher than that. But either way, it would be exceptional value. And you know what? He can really skate. He's big. He's not overly playmaker. He's probably a complimentary guy, but he's big and strong, doesn't have a boatload of playoff success, but I don't necessarily hold that against him. I just think Edmonton needs to add a little bit more size and speed up front. And the fact that the guy can score, he's on pace, 18, 25 goals, that'd be a good addition.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like just the versatility of him. Like if he fits next to Connor McDavid, then great. If he fits next to Leon Draisaitl, then great. It maybe gives you a chance to move a Ryan Nugent-Hopkins down the lineup or however you want to move things around. But again, just the fact he's done a lot of this scoring at 5-on-5 or at even strength, to me, I'd say, all right, could he maybe be an option for you on the third line to give you some depth, to give you a bottom six that can actually go and outscore the other team? So I think he fits in a whole bunch of different spots. And yeah, it's going to take the Leafs deciding to sell. But I don't know. I was talking to Zach Phillips today, who works for the Leafs Nation, handles all of our post-game stuff. He works with Jeff on the sheet as well. And he kind of said he wouldn't be surprised if maybe Tree Living does a little bit of buying and selling, where if you can get a couple of assets for a McMahon and then flip a couple of assets for players with term, maybe you can get the best of both worlds here. Because there's another side of this that, like, if Brad Tree Living waves the white flag, there's new people in charge at the top of MLSE. Like, it might be a situation where if Tree Living waves the white flag, they might just go, like, at the end of the year, all right, you're not fit for the job. So I do think that might be why he's more hesitant to sell than some other teams in his spot could be.
Yeah, potentially. I think you also, when you have time on your side, you use it.
Mm-hmm.
It's beneficial to you. Like, why would you rush out today? Like, is unless you're like, hey, this guy's going to offer us way more than we ever thought possible. Okay, maybe, but I don't think that's the reason why you do it. So, they'll wait. And hey, if you're on that team and the Mitch Marner situation and how it went down, and just the fact that, because we had a text yesterday that, did kind of make me chuckle. They're like, hey, Brad Treliving knows how to get you close to the playoffs, but not in the playoffs. And, when you look back at some of the moves he made in Calgary at the end, didn't work out. And now Mitch Marner. So they might look and say, hey, like, we got Matthews coming up here. We can't have our current GM. Now, I'm not saying that that's how they think, but I wonder if they look at that, and that might be the biggest factor here of them. Because you don't want to, I know, hey, Austin Matthews can be inconsistent health-wise.
Mm-hmm.
No question about that. But it's hard to just give up on Austin Matthews, and because then all you're doing is looking for the next goal scorer. You know what I mean? So it's a tough situation for them. They haven't had a lot of success yet in the postseason. They let Marner go, and how's that worked out? Like, would it get better if they let Matthews go? Like, be hard to fathom that.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, listen, in the spirit of the rivalry, if you want to call it that, with a lot of Leafs fans, I'm sure, tuning in today and obviously heading to the game, a lot of energy in Toronto over the last number of years spent on, oh, how long is Connor McDavid going to be in Edmonton? Austin Matthews is on the same timeline. And there is a part of me, as much as I am sure he likes the spotlight and the endorsement money and all that stuff that comes with being a Maple Leaf, at some point does he sit there and go, whoa, I can get some pretty good endorsement money playing in New York, who's going to be freeing up a lot of money this summer, or LA, who, won't have Anze Kopitar going forward. Like, at some point, does Austin Matthews say, maybe I don't need all the noise of this Canadian market?
Potentially that could be a factor for sure. When you look at the Oilers and their needs, I still think I would like to see Nugent. I think Nugent Hopkins is a better center. Now, I don't think he's a regular top six center anymore, but I think he'd be a very good third line center. And that's why I think winger is the thing for me. If you get one move, are you getting a winger or a center if you're Stanbol?
Oh, man, I mean, I'm giving you just the worst fence sitter answer ever, but, like, I'm just truly going for the best player available. Like, if Ryan O'Reilly is available and he's the same cost or similar cost to a Bobby McMahon, then I think I sit there and go, well, Ryan O'Reilly is the better player. I'm going to go get Ryan O'Reilly. But I think that's the beauty of the Oilers forward group, is just that there's so much versatility in here. Like, do I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins could be an excellent third line center for this team, down the stretch into the playoffs? Pair him with Jack Roslovic. Maybe they have some chemistry and Roslovic can be a finisher for him, because that is the one knock on Nuge up with Connor McDavid, is that he's not a finisher. And ideally you'd like to have a finisher next to McDavid. Like, I think Nuge could be a very good third line center. I also look at the metrics of that Nuge, Hyman, and McDavid line. I look at how comfortable Connor McDavid appears to be playing with them. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that when those three got reunited at the beginning of December, Connor McDavid all of a sudden started shooting the puck way more, because he's back with two line mates that he maybe feels like he doesn't necessarily have to prop up. Like, I just think there's so many possibilities here that Stan Bowman has the freedom to be fully focused on saying, I'm going out and getting the best player available. If this front office and the pro scouting thinks Bobby McMahon is the best player available, go get him. If you can get O'Reilly, go get him. I know the Panarin stuff's floating around. I don't fully buy that, but like still, like if there's a high-end winger on the board, absolutely go get him. If you think Boone Jenner's the best player, go. I just think that's the beauty of having guys like Nugent Hopkins who can float and move, even Rozovic to an extent, although you probably don't want him playing center in the playoffs. So many pieces who can float around your lineup that I think they have the benefit of just truly going out there and stretching their dollars or assets to the best of their ability.
Yeah, we'll see. I'd like to have a concise plan. Hey, what do I think? Obviously, that doesn't mean that you close your eyes to anything. But here's the thing. I know everybody keeps mentioning Boone Jenner. And I'm like, guys, have you not looked at the standings? The Columbus Blue Jackets are 4 points out of a playoff spot with 2 games in hand behind the New York Islanders. I don't see they've won 5 in a row. They hired their new coach, and Rick Bowness is pressing all the right buttons, and Zach Werenski is playing unreal, and I would have him as my leader for the Vezina today. Yes, ahead of Cale Makar. Go look at the numbers. And like, I don't like this, the Boone Jenner, Charlie Coyle stuff. Like, I know Oiler fans keep talking about it, but I'm like, guys, Columbus is closer to a playoff spot than a lot of other teams. Like even Ryan O'Reilly in Nashville, they won again last night. They're only 3 points back because, it's Anaheim and it's Utah and there's not a lot of dominant teams there. So I'm not sure either Nashville or Columbus are going to necessarily be sellers, depending on what happens in their next 8 games.
Well, here's another scenario I'll throw at your way. Like, again, I know money is a little bit tight in Edmonton, but talking again with Zach today from the Leafs Nation, he was talking about how a lot of Leafs fans really feel like Scott Laughton is underutilized in Toronto. And there's a little part of me that goes, oh, is Scott Laughton just another version, maybe a slight upgrade, but another version of Adam Henrique? Do you need him? But like, if Toronto waves the white flag, couldn't you go get Laughton and McMahon? Like, as long as you're getting rid of Mangiapane's dollars, the assets, obviously, like the cost goes way up if you're getting 2 players and Laughton's dirt cheap. But I don't know, maybe you could scratch both itches if you're the Oilers and say, hey, we got Scott Laughton and we got Bobby McMahon, and we filled both spots that we view as holes.
Yeah, possibly. Well, the thing is, Mangiapane's money's got to move. You can't have, once you move Mangiapane, that's just to get Henrique back on the line, on the roster. Sure. You got to move out other ones, right? That's what I'm like. The Oilers kind of have 2 timelines. They've got to make moves coming out of the Olympic break. And that's, I think, why Calvin Pickard was placed on waivers when he was, so it clears. So then when you come out of the break, you can just place him on the waivers right away. Doesn't have to wait the 24 hours. Boom, away he goes. Szymanski goes down. And then they probably have to send either Mangiapane down or they got to trade him to activate Henrique. That's the only way they can do it.
Yeah, they're very tight to the cap. But again, the nice thing about those 2 guys in Toronto, even if you just got retention on one of them, you're sitting here and only adding about $2 million in total salary. So again, at that point, if you're adding those 2 to the lineup, you're already talking about Szymanski going down. I mean, maybe it's a Curtis Lazar who loses his job, unfortunately, because you get a guy like Laughton. Although, again, don't take that as a slight on Lazar. I've loved what he's done so far this year. Maybe you have to make a tough call on a guy like Matthias Janmark or whatever, but you all of a sudden don't need to free up a lot of money to go get those 2 guys. So I know there's still some talk too, like could the Oilers look to add on the blue line? A name like Logan Stanley fits that mold of a McMahon and a Laughton, where he's a pending UFA, so you don't kill any of your financial flexibility going forward, and he's dirt cheap right now. He'd probably cost more than I'd like to pay for a guy with Logan Stanley's upside when it comes to assets, but I think that's the area the Oilers are going to be shopping, is these guys who are in that $1 to $2 million range, who are having great years, who can help them out depth-wise, because they're so tight to the cap. It's just their hands are a little bit tied in that sense.
Do you think they go and get a right shot defenseman? But the problem is, it's going to be hard to get a number 4. So maybe they just get a depth guy.
I think it's a depth guy. I wonder if maybe they don't want to, add a little bit of meat to the back end, some bulk and some toughness. Because I'll be honest, like I like the 6 that they have right now. I'm a fan of Spencer Stastny. I like the way he plays with a little bit of pace. If they're worried though about getting into a playoff series where you don't want both Stastny and Emberson on your third pairing, I think it would be smart. Like, I don't know if you're getting you're definitely not getting an Ekholm ad. I don't think there's a Wallman type ad out there, but can you shop around the bargain bin find someone who's $1 million who would give you some toughness, who's maybe even good as your number 7. I know some people were joking today, like, man, San Jose, what if they call and say, you want Vinny Desharnais, $1 million, give us a 7th round pick and he's yours for the back half of the year. Like, again, I don't know if I necessarily trust him all that much in a playoff series, but if the goal is just to add some cheap depth and some toughness, maybe a guy like that's not the worst idea in the world. I mean, keep in mind, he was a D-man for this team when they went on their run 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's true. There's lots of options for them to look at, and I'm sure Stan Bowman. Now Stan Bowman is going over to the Olympics as part of Team USA, but as he told me, he goes, it doesn't mean I can't. Like, it's not like there's only you're there for a long time and they play 3 games. Like, there's lots of downtime. You can. I think it's like when people say, well, they got to sign this guy. Well, that doesn't mean you can't talk to other people at the same time. Like, you can multitask. It's allowed, right? Some of you at home. You don't just watch one TV show start to finish and never watch any other one, right? Like, sometimes you watch, Ty's watching the Oilers and he's watching the Bills and he's watching, like, we can watch multiple things. You can do multiple things at once. So
they're going to have Wi-Fi in Milan. Like, Stan Bowman can make phone calls and FaceTimes and emails. It's possible, I swear.
Mm-hmm. Which golfer do you most want to see up close at Arizona?
So me and my buddies that are going down, like, as much as it's a party, we're also like a group of like golf sickos. Like, we all play 50 rounds a year. We all have our group chat where we bet on every tournament every weekend. So like, we're legitimately just fired up to go watch the golf. The world number 1's there. Brooks Koepka's there. Those are the big 2. But like, Nick Taylor, the Canadian's my answer. Like, he's my favorite golfer going right now. I think he's electric. The way he plays can be a little sporadic at times, which is exciting. So I think our plan is to find Connors or Nick Taylor on the days we're there and just try to hunker down and like follow them for 6 or 7 holes.
Oh, that'll be a blast. It's, I actually got to walk the course because before it was really, because it opens up, like, they have all the stuff up there, the week earlier, right? Like, when they had the Post Malone concert. And so the place we were staying at was right on the golf course. And so because the golf tournament wasn't on, you could walk from our hotel the back way across the golf course. I got to walk the whole course and no one was out there. It was phenomenal. You're just like, oh my God, like, you kind of got the sight lines to see everything. And you're like, it's a little bit tougher than the holes I play. So it was, it's fantastic. So get out there, and there is some really good spots to get to. Are you guys going like Thursday, Friday? Is it better to go than even the weekends? Cause you'll get a little bit less of a crowd.
Yeah, that's like the plan is our big day where we're going to probably spend like 12 hours there is on Friday. The last day for the cut line, get to see all the golfers and things like that. So that's the plan.
Well, have fun, buddy. Pace yourself. Mix in a water.
Yeah, I will. Thanks, Greg.
There you go. That's Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation Daily Faceoff. We'll come back. Struddy is up next. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Ooh, girl, the way you touch that thermostat, it really turns me on. Like a heat exchanger, sensual phenomenon. Wanna play your favorite song where we turn the heat on like a legacy of love.
Legacy Heating and Cooling keeps your Valentine sizzling hot. You can afford to shower your Valentine with affection because Legacy offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. And that's how you build your legacy of love. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Your game day feast better with Papa John's. Create a mouth-watering pizza lineup with buffalo chicken, all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, or create your own pizza possibilities. Now through Sunday, February 8th, get 25% off pizzas at regular menu price with the promo code BIGGAME at any location in Alberta. Order at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app with promo code BIGGAME. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
If you manage or lead a team, join your peers April 14th to 17th at the Banff Management Course. PA Douglas Training invites you to 3 days of immersive leadership development in beautiful Banff, Alberta. Learn how to manage conflict, motivate and influence others, strengthen teamwork, and improve productivity. Proudly Canadian, PA Douglas has trained over 150,000 professionals. Registration includes 3 nights at the Banff Springs Hotel, breakfast, select meals, refreshments, and course materials. Register now at padouglas.ca.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Invest for today and tomorrow. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your income tax, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams, whether it's retirement or your first home. The deadline to qualify for 2025 tax deductions is March 2nd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Every lunchtime, hang with Low Tide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. Low Tide and Declan Kruger gives you the deep dives, sharp analysis, and Edmonton sports talk done right. Your game, your station, Sports 1440. Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder. With over $2 million raised for local charities and his Gregor Foundation, he's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site heavy equipment service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.4:30, we continue on a lovely Tuesday afternoon. Nick has come in at a bit of a $500 on our tickets tonight. Oilers and the Maple Leafs will do till 5 o'clock, around 4:55 when we go to break. So one in on that, 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Oilers and Leafs tonight. Good seats in the lower bowl where the Oilers attack twice. It's time now for Struds On, brought to you by Action Electrical, one of the most diversified electrical contractors in Alberta with 4 divisions in project service, testing, and solar. In testing, they do preventive maintenance for your electrical distribution with infrared, ultrasonic, arc flash studies, and other testing options. That's actionelectrical.net. Struds On.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
I don't believe in tea bags. I use loose leaf tea. And it is so much better than the tea bags. I'll eat tea bags. I'll
Struds On.
I'm not a huge DJ guy. I mean, I guess if you had me a couple glow sticks and a tight white t-shirt that I can get wet, maybe I'd be into it.
Struds On.
There's a lone steakhouse I used to go to down in Kentucky, and they had bowls of peanuts. I wasn't sucking on those ones. You need to have clean nut. I'm talking about the kind you get in a bag at an Elks game. You know what I mean?
It's time for Struds On.
4:30. Struddy, how you doing?
Tip top, buddy. What's up with you today?
Oh, lots going on, man. A lot is happening. It's funny. The Toronto Edmonton, they've never been in the playoffs. They only meet 2 times a year. But man, the building's louder. Like there is a good rivalry, maybe even more with the fans than it is with the team. but it just makes for usually these games are highly entertaining.
Well, listen, this is a fan base that travels really well. There are Maple Leafs fans everywhere. They're like a rash across North America. They cheer for their team. And I'll give them credit. They hang around, man. For a team that has a lot of success, they definitely support that team and stay with it, not unlike like the New York Jets fans in the NFL. So, they're wildly passionate about their team. And I think a lot of this stems from maybe some jealousy, right, about what's happened with the Oilers recently and some of the success they've had, although not translating quite to a Stanley Cup, but close. And then they're feeling maybe they're transitioning out of their window if it was a window in the first place. So I love that rivalry. It's going to be loud tonight. The Maple Leafs are playing a little bit better, obviously a couple wins in a row, but I think it's really healthy when you do have fan bases that travel as well as the Leafs fans do.
Yeah. Well, do they travel that well, or do they just have a lot of Leaf fans out here? That's the question I've always asked. And, I wonder, like I get, older, but I wonder kind of like if you're 30 years of age, like no offense, if you're from Western Canada, why I would be curious why you'd be a diehard Leaf fan. Just curious why you'd be one. Like I get why you're fans of, the New York Giants because there's no NFL team in your backyard, right? I get it, right? Like you're a fan of the Elks, but your NFL team is that. So I was just always kind of curious about, maybe it's because, they grew up during the decade of darkness and they're like, I couldn't cheer for them. So, could be that simple. So we'll see. But the Oilers themselves, against the Leafs, Strutty, back to when you played, the Oilers have only swept the season series once in franchise history back in 1989. A win tonight, and they could do it for the second time.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. I guess we only play each other twice a year. So maybe it doesn't have quite, and there's not a ton, like as far as like, other than the 2 points, there's not a ton riding on it. It's not like it's an inter-squad or inter-division game. But listen, the Oilers, they need to accumulate points too, right?
Yes.
Vegas has kind of done them a solid by, losing the last couple and then giving the Oilers a chance to kind of recoup some of those, or Vegas is making up some of those games at hand they had. So now they're within striking distance. So they have 2 games against teams they should beat. Just park everything else. But the Leafs and the Flames are 2 teams they should be able to win. They can bank these 4 points. Who cares what Vegas does? It moves you further up the ladder or keeps you where you want to be. So I think this game tonight for the Oilers is it's important, and they're all important. But with 48 hours left to the Olympic break, I know what that feels and tastes like, but you got to dial in for last 6 periods and bank these points.
Well, yeah, these next 2 nights it's a great opportunity for the Edmonton Oilers. Like you win your next 2 games, at worst, you're going into the break tied for first. Can't be worse than that, right? And then you've got a very favorable schedule coming out of the Olympic break for your team. Now, your 2 best players at the Olympics, and we'll see how deep Draisaitl goes or not. And, if he plays 4 games and in a span of 2 weeks, I don't think fatigue will be that much of an issue for him. McDavid might be a little bit different, especially if they win. He's talked about the emotional, highs or lows coming back from something like that. But, the Oilers, and that's why, Strut, I'm going to say this. I've been talking about it for months. And I said I understood why it didn't happen in December, because the line was red hot and McDavid was, scorching hot. And he's been averaging 2 points a game since December 1st. I get it. But you come out of the Olympic break, I think Nugent Hopkins is your third line center to start the game, to start that first game, because they want to get a little bit more bounce. I think too many people in Edmonton are, and it probably stems from Derek Ryan talking about the 4th line. I've looked up lots of teams' 4th lines in the playoffs, and thinking your 4th line is going to play a ton of minutes is more of a dream, unless you're like the St. Louis Blues one year and like who didn't have a McDavid or Draisaitl. So when you got top guys, your 4th line's not playing that much. That's just a fact. But your 3rd line can play more, and that's why I think Nugent Hopkins is going to send the 3rd line coming out of the Olympics for a little bit of an extended period of time just to see what it is, and it can lesser the minutes for your top 2 lines coming out of the Olympic break after those guys play. What say you?
Who'd you bump up? Who'd you jump up beside McDavid then? Who'd you put in there?
That's a great question. I got options. I can put Roslovic there. I can put Podkolzin in there and keep Kapanen with McDavid. With Draisaitl if I want. I wouldn't have a problem trying Matt Savoy. Right? Like I don't think it matters. It's a complimentary guy. Like it's not like Nugent Hopkins is lighting it up on that line.
Yeah. No, and I hear it. And so I've been talking about this for a while as well, moving to getting a third line that can not just hold its own, but maybe at times push the pace. And they need that starts with the identity of a center. I really feel you need to have a center that can set the identity for that line, or any line, quite honestly. It's a little bit harder. A winger can do it. You have to be super elite, but a centerman usually sets the identity. So I'm with you. If you want to put McDavid or Nugent Hopkins at center of the third line, that's great. And then you have to have complementary people to play with them to push the pace, right? You want to try to make a difference and not just hold your own. You know, Szymanski, he's been okay, but it feels like a placeholder right now. I don't know if that's, I don't believe that's the solution in the short term, but he's been okay. But I'd like to see something that maybe a little different. So I might leave Roslovic beside him in that spot. So it'd be Nuge and Roslovic, and then you got to figure out, maybe you need a little bit bigger body and someone who, you know, can maybe move a few people around. So you got to figure that spot out. The fourth line's not bad, and then that leaves you with the top two lines. So I'm with you. It feels like they're probably a player short for the kind of identity I'm talking about, a bigger guy that can lean on some people and take some hits and create some space.
So couldn't you just split up Podkolzin and Kapanen and have Kapanen with Nugent Hopkins, Podkolzin with Draisaitl, and Hyman with McDavid?
Yeah, and that works as well, right? You can spread that out without, you know, having to bring someone in. That's for sure. And I just like, you know, Kapanen can skate really quickly. Obviously, Nuge can get there. Roslovic can get there. Podkolzin isn't slow. McDavid and Leon, I can leave those guys. Hyman works well. So you're getting speed, but that size, Savoy, you know, does he need to play with someone that's a little bit bigger? Like, I guess I wouldn't want to see Savoy, Roslovic, and Nuge. To me, that's not the line.
Yes.
So, you know, if you want to bring Kapanen back, I'm all ears, man. Or Podkolzin back, although Podkolzin and Draisaitl seem to be, tag team partners. So, I think that's there's something there for sure, and they just need more of that third line. Like, you know, the fourth line is now starting to look like they're pushing the pace and spending time in the offensive zone with Curtis Lazar's creating an identity for that line. They need the same for the third line.
Jason Strudwick joins us here on Sports 1440. Struddy, there's lots of talk about Artemi Panarin, and I was digging into his numbers. You know, Panarin he'll turn 35 in October, but he's not 35 on July 1st. So he doesn't turn 35 until October. But and so that impacts some things in contracts and everything. But Artemi Panarin in the regular season has been a 1.15 point per game player. In the playoffs, he's been a 0.84. So a pretty significant drop, which is unlike, you know, the superstars like McKinnon and McDavid and Kucherov and Draisaitl, right? And even Pasternak. So do you have concern? Like, I know I'm not sure it even makes sense for Edmonton, but like I'm hearing the numbers for Panarin, and I just, at his age and the fact that to date, he's been less effective in the playoffs than he has been in the regular season, that gives me pause to want to pay him huge money, even on a shorter term deal.
I'm with you, and I love the bread man. I love the way he plays. I think there's a lot of things he does well there. They already have two guys that can really make it happen offensively with Connor and McDavid. Now, I always think, Connor and Leon. Where do you put them on the power play? You know, who's coming off of this power play unit? Probably not Bouchard. Nuge seems to be beloved on that power play. He does a lot of things, and then Hyman. Mm-hmm. So you're going to sign a guy for big money, and right away my first thought, where's he fit on the power play? Oh, we'll put him on the second power play unit. Yeah, you, me, and Jason Gregor. That's the line. Like you're not getting on the power play the second. There is no power play. So to me, you're paying a lot for something that maybe the guy won't be used at. I would allocate that money to find a big, fast winger that can score. My dream is Alex Tuch. I know it's probably impossible. Whatever you ask me, that's what I'm telling you. I think they need something like that rather than a Panarin. And I know people love the high flying, superstar. He's been a really good player for a long time. I don't see the fit with this group. It would be redundant having that type of player, especially when I look where he's at his best on the power play.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I just don't think Panarin is. If he was a rental for 1 year, maybe I'd consider it. But even then, I'm like, I'd like them to get a winger with a little bit more skilled size. Now, it's hard to find more skill than Panarin. The guy is obviously incredibly skilled. I don't doubt that. But the playoffs is just a different game. And smaller skill guys in the playoffs, Struddy, not all, but lots of them they drop off a bit in the playoffs just because it gets, like that's what made Patrick Kane so special is he was a smaller guy, but come playoff time, that's why he's showtime. He showed it. Like he showed up in the playoffs and not a lot of smaller skilled guys do.
And so look what the Edmonton Oilers have right now. Stan Bowman's done a good job acquiring talent, right, without draft picks. So Savoy, smaller skilled player. Quinn Hudson, smaller skilled player. Isaac Howard, same thing. We've got who am I missing? Someone else. Roslovic, not a huge guy, but skilled guy. So you already have a lot of those. Are they as good as Panarin? No, they're not. But do I want to pay? What does he want? $40 to $50 million? I mean, that's a pretty big tag for something you already have a lot of. I would take a look at. I know we're getting more into the off season, but that big winger that can, and not unskilled. I don't want a fridge. Someone's like, oh yeah, Sutter just likes big fridges. No, I want guys that can get there and score. And Evander Kane, when he came here at first, big guy that can play heavy. Hard in the puck. Warren Fogle, those types of guys that are big and heavy. Then on the back end, depending on what happens, you're probably a Brett Kulak short from the 6-pack you want back there.
Yeah, no, that's fair. What's your thoughts on Stastny now that you've seen him for a month or so?
Yeah, I still really like the way he moves and skates. I think that for him to be the ultra effective player he wants to be, he's got to use skating really well, but pass the puck and has to be crisp and on the tape, right? Every pass he has to make has to be on the tape because he's not able to out-muscle guys or anything like that. So I would like him to really dial in. And let's watch tonight how his passing is just connecting. Is it connecting? When it is, he sure sets those forward up nice. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. I thought it was interesting was that last game or 2 games ago, he and Emerson started the penalty kill.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And not that they should or shouldn't be, but that's quite an endorsement when you have 4 other guys that are sitting on the bench. So that was a positive eye opener for me. I want to continue to see development from Stastny, but the size he is, the way he skates, his passes have to be like automatic all the time.
Yeah. No, that is valid. Strutty, enjoy the game tonight. I know you're a huge Leafs fan, so you'll probably be on with Noodles and those guys, pumping. Are you going on the Leafs post-game show tonight?
You know what, Greg? It's not even fun to chirp those guys when the team's not going well. Like, it's not even fun. It's like a pity chirp, and that's not even fun. You kind of just like this team, and I know you didn't ask me, but the Leafs to me are at a pretty big crossroads. Like first off, they have an accomplishment, so it's not like you're taking, dismantling Rome at its peak. And then how far do you take it down? And then can you build it back up fast enough with the guys who are at your high end for them to be effective still in 2 or 3 years? So, man, is this going to be fascinating watching this team both now between now and the trade deadline in March, and then I'm going to say till July 15th, July 30th.
Strutty, have yourself a great day. Quickly, who do you like in the Super Bowl?
You know what? It's funny. This is one of the games I'd be happy if both teams win. Like, I don't really have. Yeah, the Patriots beat up on the Giants for a long time, but whatever. We beat them twice in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady, so we'll call it even. But I guess if I had to, I'd go Seattle. What about you? But again, I'm not committed to it, right?
Well, I don't know. I think Seattle's going to win big in this game. I just think Seattle's been a dominant team all year long. So, which doesn't mean anything. Like I've always tell people, don't. Now, if we want to go for not so obvious game day predictions, I'm pretty good at those. But for actual wagering, not so much. So, but I feel Seattle, man. I think that not necessarily like spanking them like they won 43-8 over Denver back in Super Bowl 49 or 8, whatever it was. But I think Seattle's been the best team all year, and I think that'll continue.
Yeah, well, there'll be a lot of Seattle fans here in town. Nice jerseys. So yeah, let's just hope it's a good game. Like that's what I'm hoping for, a good game, and then we can get on what's important, the off season for the Giants. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we'll look forward to that. It'll be a short conversation about the Giants. So who knows? Who's going to be their quarterback? Actually, no, they got a decent quarterback now. But
Dart, Harbaugh. I mean, we've got a lot of pieces. 2. Now we just need offensive line. We'll be there.
Oh, that's very true. Strutty, I know you'll be watching the Pro Bowl tonight. Enjoy it.
I can't wait. I'll be having a simulcast. We'll see you later, buddy.
Jason Strutty. We'll come back. 5 questions of the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace replacement company for lovers. Because the best aphrodisiac is no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace from Legacy. So forget about the oysters, baby. If you really want to check the heat, we can be a thermal couple, baby. Give me your sweet loving legacy. Heat things up with no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The Hockey Super League is proud to launch its 9th season, delivering independent, borderless hockey. This year, over 125 teams will compete across Alberta, Saskatchewan, and for the first time ever, Colorado, USA, with showcase-style action, cross-province rivalries, and a strong commitment to player development. The HSL is the premier destination for families seeking balance and athletes chasing the next level. The Hockey Super League. Hockey without limits. For athletes born in 2013 to 2018, visit hockeysuperleague.com to learn more.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I'm obviously going to get the McVeggie, medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. It's my favorite meal, and it's new. Plus, if I get that, maybe he'll want it too. And then he'll always thank me for introducing him to the McVeggie. I'll be a hero.
So, McVeggie fries and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a McVeggie meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
These days, it's all about who you know. And that's why it's the perfect time to save at the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. Upgrade your living room in time for the big game and score free delivery on TVs over 50 inches, like a Samsung 85-inch 4K smart TV for just $9.99. Save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals. And mix and match. Save up to $1,000 off 2 or more major appliances. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick in Edmonton South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side on 137, and downtown near the Ice District.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Riverside Honda, 59 years and counting as St. Albert and surrounding areas' premier Honda and Can-Am dealer. It's your dream. Ride it at riversidehonda.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.452, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's Gregor Show, always brought to you by playalberta.ca. Lotto Max tonight, $25 million. Also, While you're there, check out the Jason Gregor Show odds boosts on the game tonight. Got some point combinations. Also, the Connor Halley special. Ooh, TF tonight. Good luck. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where right now you can save up to 25% off bedroom, dining, and fireplaces. In-store only, you can score up to 50% off clearance mattresses and 60% off clearance and scratch and dent appliances at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, Oilers, Leafs tonight. Let's get a prediction and throw in a bold one as well.
Go ahead.
Second game, 2 nights. Not the most strenuous game, I'd say, for the Leafs last night, but I still think fatigue can play a part. And for the Oilers, hopefully they don't let another team come in here and run the show. I'm going to say they win. Give me a 5-2 empty net. Bold prediction, though. Troy Stecher, former Oiler.
Scores a goal?
Yeah.
Ooh. It's back-to-back. Geez, I'd have to look. When was the last time Stecher scored in back-to-back games?
He's heating up.
That would be okay. That's a bold prediction. I actually wrote that Frederick would score, so I like that your play of the day is the same. So my bold is that Trent Frederick, who, by the way, Trent Frederick has scored 2 goals this season, both on the road. Both were the first goal of the game. He doesn't have a goal in 31 games. He doesn't have a point in 25 games. Trent Frederick is due. So, and I think the Oilers and the Leafs continue to score lots of goals. The Oilers win 5-3 with an empty net.
Question number 2. Obviously not the season the Leafs had hoped for so far. Where would you rank them in terms of underachievers in the NHL so far this season? What's interesting about the Leafs is if you look at their overall record, it's obviously not great. It's not terrible. I would say, well, the Devils and the Rangers are worse than them. The Jets for sure. So, and even the Blues from where they were last year. So I'd probably say Toronto and underachievers would probably be around like 6th or 7th. Surprising. I just did a little research as we were looking at it. Postseason 2021-2022's Troy Stecher in Game 4s and Game 5. Game 4 and 5 against the Kings had a goal. Back-to-back games. Goal and an assist, actually. So he might be due. Yeah, for me, I guess like Winnipeg, you'd have to put in there some circumstances that didn't necessarily go their way when it comes to the injuries, but underachievers, they come to mind for sure. Question number 3 for you. I will say that a few people this morning on Fantasy Frenzy, when the news broke, were a little surprised Sam Bennett made the team when they had to make the adjustment. Did it surprise you at all with Sam Bennett being the pick?
Not really. His name had been out there right from the get-go. Lots of people were surprised. Like, look at the way he played at Four Nations. Look at the way he played in the Stanley Cup final. Look at the way he's played since December. I'm not surprised at all. And it was a center they lost. So I didn't think Hyman was going to replace Cirelli just because Hyman's not a center at all. So Bennett doesn't surprise me in the least, really.
No, I wasn't surprised at all. Like, if you would have thrown in Nazem Kadri, yeah, maybe then I'm a little bit surprised. But Sam Bennett was there for the Four Nations face-off. We saw how good he was in the playoffs when the games mattered last year. Even in that tournament last year, dropped the mitts. Like, I thought he was kind of an omission from the team. So to have him there, not surprised at all. Question number 4: if you couldn't pick a quarterback, who is your pick for the Super Bowl MVP on Sunday?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Kenneth Walker the third. With Charbonnet out, and he's got 2 weeks rested. Like, this guy is getting the rock a ton. And he is explosive. He's a game breaker. And I think the Seahawks are going to win, so I got to go with one of them. It was either him or JSN, but I just think he'll get more touches.
I'm going to go Rashid Shaheed. I think that he's my X factor for this game. I'm going to just keep banging that drum. Every time I bring him up, I get looks. But he can return. He does that sort of thing. And then also, I just think he's such a dynamic deep threat. And you're going to have the Seahawks. Christian Gonzalez is going to be focusing on Jackson Smith, the Jigba. Cooper Kupp's going to probably be getting a bit of attention. And you got a guy who can absolutely stretch the ball downfield. It's a long shot, but I'll take it for this one. Final question for you today is take a cruise day. So 3-part question. Have you done it? Would you do it? And where would you like to go?
Go ahead.
I have done it. I have gone to Alaska in a cruise, and it was an interesting experience to say the least. So yeah, I would do it again for sure. I saw that documentary on Netflix, which kind of soured me a little bit, where the cruise ship got stuck. But I think I'd like to go down to, down through Mexico maybe. I don't want to go on the cruise for a crazy amount of time, and I don't want to go through the choppiest of waters, but down the coast of Mexico, I could do that.
All right. I have never been on a cruise. I've heard mixed reviews about cruise ships. And you know what? My neighbors went, they loved it. Other people went, couldn't wait to get off of it. So I think it depends. You got to do your research on it. And, some of them are so massive. They're like, God, I just had so much to do. Like, I love the fact that I can just eat what I want.
Yeah.
Right. And I've seen where they have like healthy options, right? Like, trust me, I can eat a lot, but I like healthy. Like, I want to have a good breakfast every day, right? As much as I love bacon, I'm not eating bacon every day, right? I want my yogurt, I want my eggs, and I don't want powdered eggs. I want real eggs. So that's like my number one question. Yeah, powdered eggs, I'm out. I'm not even stepping on board. They're disgusting. You have real eggs, now we open the door for discussion. But I would do it, and I would probably want to go on a Caribbean cruise.
Yeah, that'd be slick.
No. So, but I've never done it. I'm sure people out there have done cruises, and they can let us know yay or nay, but I kind of like it. So, we'll see. Looks like I think Nick is our big winner today. Attaboy, Nick, going to the game. 500 bones. Awesome for the Gregor Foundation. Let's get to Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Fall in love with Buick. In the month of February, you can lease a 2026 Buick Envision all-wheel drive, 0 down, and only $265, right? Includes GST right now at Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Game day, Oilers Leafs down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 6:30. We've got pregame coverage coming your way at 5:30 with Andrew Walker, Jason Gregor, Landon Ferraro, and Donovan Paulson. Getting going shortly. You got the Devils and the Blue Jackets, Caps in Philadelphia. Hurricanes will host the Sens, Sabres, Lightning, Islanders, Penguins, and the Kraken in Anaheim in the association. Some trades today. The Memphis Grizzlies sending forward Jaren Jackson Jr., John Conchart, Jock Landale, and Vince Williams Jr. to the Utah Jazz for Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, George Yang, and 3 future first-round picks. Meanwhile, Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit, multi-team deal sending Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. to the Bulls, Kevin Harder, Dario Saric to the Pistons. Detroit also receives a 2026 first-round ticket swap from Minnesota. And in the AJ, Canmore hosting Olds. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. Here, Cam takes 2-minute warning and get to pregame coverage. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Ooh, girl, the way you touch that thermostat, it really turns me on. Like a heat exchanger, sensual phenomenon. Wanna play your favorite song when we turn the heating on like a legacy of love.
Legacy Heating and Cooling keeps your Valentine sizzling hot. You can afford to shower your Valentine with affection because Legacy offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. And that's how you build your legacy of love. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Your game day feast better with Papa John's. Create a mouth-watering pizza lineup with buffalo chicken, all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, or create your own pizza possibilities. Now through Sunday, February 8th, get 25% off pizzas at regular menu price with the promo code BIGGAME at any location in Alberta. Order at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app with promo code BIGGAME. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Made for some rough roads, but it means trails are now packed and ready for action. Don't miss out on riding adventures this winter with a Ski-Doo from Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. Work or play with new 2026 Generation 5 models with class-leading design and power. And right now, take advantage of 5.99% financing OAC. Only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert. And always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
It only comes once a year.
Aw, Valentine's Day.
What? No, from the top. It only comes once a year.
Oh, here we go. The Rock and Roll Super Party, only at On the Rocks.
Join host Ryan Jesperson on Sunday, February 8th.
At OTR for the biggest football party in Edmonton.
Your $30
Make
ticket
our way.
includes
All-you-can-eat buffet, commemorative t-shirts, prepaid Miller Lights, and entry to all prizes, including
$1,000 cash.
the Rock and Roll Super Party.
Only at On the Rocks.
Day
Book your
afternoon,
table
Nick.
today.
On the Rocks, YEG.com.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
A claims program for harmed Canadians has begun as a result of a landmark tobacco settlement. If you smoked regularly before November 20th, 1998, and were diagnosed with lung cancer, throat cancer, emphysema, or COPD, you may qualify for a significant payment. To learn more, call 888-482-5852 or go to tobaccoclaimscanada.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Just after 5 o'clock. How are you, Jason Gregor? Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. It's a game day. Oilers taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. Willie Nylander, when he's not flipping the bird, scoring goals, he has 15 points in his last 8 games. For the Maple Leafs. It was absolutely flying last night for them against Calgary. So he'll be ready to roll it. Now, Connor McDavid says, oh, that's pretty nice. But McDavid has 59 points in his last 30 games. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now, speaking of hot, no one's hotter than Kucherov. Like, this is how hot Kucherov is. In the month of, since January 1st, McDavid's third in the NHL. He's got 25 points in 15 games. Kucherov has 35 in 14 games. He has 10 more points. He's played one fewer game. He's absolutely shredding it right now. On New Year's Eve, at the end of New Year's Eve, the end of 2025, he was 19 points behind Nathan McKinnon. He's 5 points behind McKinnon now. Oh, like you make up that many points in 1 month against like some of the other top scorers in the league. Like that is pretty damn impressive by Kucherov. And he is he's slowly putting himself back in the conversation for the Hart and the Art Ross right now. So, which makes it great. Competition is good. Love to see it. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can always text us your thoughts. I remember tonight, Lotto Max, $25 million. Get your tickets at As it's time for Le Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. They do a ton of stuff in the community and a huge supporter of the Gregor Foundation. And we can't thank them enough for all the support that they give us to help clothe a lot of the graduates. So thank you very much from GS Construction as we welcome in Mr. Spector. Spec, how you doing?
Awesome, man. Already down here at the rink. Press room.
Buddy, got to get there early. When you guys got like a 3-hour pregame show because the Leafs are in town? What's happening?
Oh, you bet, man. When the Leafs are here, like, it's a special time. The food's better, there's more people. I write better. It's amazing.
Wow, the latter part's up for debate for sure. But the Maple Leafs, they're 7 points out of a playoff spot right now, Spec. They have won 2 in a row, against Vancouver and Calgary, teams they should beat. And so they've got lots on the line tonight. The Edmonton Oilers are tied for first with Vegas. They're only 4 points out of a playoff spot, right? So they're not like out of being in 9th place. So they're not comfortable by any stretch of the imagination. And these two teams over the last many years, there's been a lot of offense in their games. Their last 7 games, each team has averaged 4 goals a game. So this should be an entertaining game tonight.
Oh, sure. For sure it should be. And Toronto tends to win here. Toronto's record, Edmonton, it's really strong. So, it tends to be loose hockey. I think what happens for my money is, first of all, McDavid always puts on a show. And when he starts putting on a show, the rest of the Oilers kind of follow the lead and they play that game. And it becomes a loose hockey game. When the Oilers and Leafs play, it tends to be real loose, fun hockey with lots of goals going either way. And it's not going to be, it's very seldom, if ever, 2-1, 3-2 boring. It's usually 7-4 for somebody or 6-3. And you know what? I know the Oilers are looking to play better defensively, Jay, but I don't think anyone complains if McDavid has 4 or 5 points tonight and the Oilers score 6, do they?
Oh, well, not if they win. No, sure. Like the Oilers want to play better defensively. They've all talked about it, and I get it. I don't think it's just going to happen with the snap of a finger. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe tonight they come out and they shut them down and it's a boring game. And I'm like, shoot me now. But, eventually they'll want to play better defensively. I'm just not sold it'll happen right away.
No, it's kind of funny, this team. We've all seen them go through the phases, their early season disinterest. They're starting to put their game together when it gets a little bit desperate at the end of November. Then they find their game and they play good for a while, and then it kind of fades away and they get a little bored because now we're into February and the trading deadline, and then they make a couple trades. Now it's a deadline, and now the team digs in, and down the stretch they tend to be pretty good, and we've watched them win multiple playoff rounds for the last several years. So it's there. You can't tell me it's not there. It seems to take longer to arrive, Jason, every season somehow. That stern, proper defensive game where you feel like, okay, this game can beat anybody. We haven't seen many of those yet this year.
Well, they had their stretch for 25 games where they're the 3rd best defensive team in the league. I actually thought they were pretty good. And then it's fallen off here. They've went from that to 5 games of allowing 25. But for the 25 games prior to that, the Oilers were the 3rd best team in goals against in the National Hockey League. They had some games where, Ingram didn't have to get tested very much. And, if he did, he was pretty good. So I still think Edmonton's capable of it. No question. I think there's some individuals who need to play better defensively. The team itself can play better, but they're more than capable of it. I'm more interested to see are they capable of beating some teams they should beat? Because Toronto they've won 2 in a row, but it's the 3rd game in 4 nights.
Yeah.
Right? The 4th game in 6 nights. The Oilers are well rested. They've been at home now for 15 days. Like this is a game you got to win.
Oh, for sure it is. Tonight, for sure, because the Leafs played last night there. They played at 8 p.m. last night, 6:30 tonight. All the things you just said. And frankly, Edmonton's a better hockey team right now and probably in the near future. So yes, you got 2 games left before the Olympic break. You really need to bear down and collect some points. You go to Calgary tomorrow. It's always a little bit of a different dynamic because it's Calgary, Edmonton, and the Flames tend to play the best hockey they have when they meet Edmonton. But I'd say to you that with these 2 non-playoff opponents, 2 teams that haven't been that good through the first 2/3 of the season, with 2 games left before the Olympic break, Edmonton should find a way to get 3 points here, if not 4. No.
Oh God, yeah. Like you definitely have to beat Calgary. I'm sorry. Like you just like got to win that game. And then tonight, you should be able to find a way to beat Toronto. But if you do, you'll do something you haven't done since 1989 when Speck was to sweep the season series against the Leafs.
Ooh, really? 89 it's been, eh?
Yes, they only ever did it, and that's the only time it ever happened. Like didn't happen in the Gretzky years. They never swept the Leafs in Gretzky years. Now they played funny. They played 3 games back then, but still, they never swept them. Up until 89, and then they haven't swept them since. Now, the Leafs, on the other hand, have swept the Oilers rather handily. I think it's 6 times in the salary cap era. So, the Oilers, hey, you're looking at certain wins against a team that right now has been struggling more than they would expected this year. This is another team that's below you in the standings. You're on home ice. You're well rested. You're coming off a game that you didn't love. You know what? Like Matthias Ekholm Speck mentioned yesterday, hey, you can't get up for every game. And I think it's truthful and I think it's honest. But you can get up for tonight's game because there's not many regular season games that have the crowd as boisterous as it is tonight.
Yeah, it's over the years, I've watched the Oilers almost turn back into kids when they play the Leafs, particularly in Toronto, Jay. I've watched a lot of games in there where Edmonton goes in and everybody tries to just play their best game of the season. And mom and dad are in the stands and everybody bought 10 tickets for all the family. And because there's always been a lot of Ontario kids on the Oilers. And it always goes the opposite direction, right? The harder you try, the worse you play. I've witnessed a lot of bad Oilers performances in Toronto. And we've also seen the Leafs come out west here. They got a crowd in their favor, or it seems like it in this building. And they play well. They play over their heads. Even bad Leafs teams have played really well here in Edmonton. So I guess what I want to say is Edmonton should be past that. They're a pretty mature team. They went into Toronto earlier this season. I was at that game. It was never in doubt. Edmonton was the better team going in. They were the better team during the game. They were the better team coming out. I would say to you that all those extraneous emotional factors, this Oilers team shouldn't be burdened by any of them at this point, right, Jay? Are they not mature enough and have gone through enough that none of that stuff matters anymore?
It shouldn't, 100%. Yeah, it shouldn't. And it's just a matter of, you come in and you be focused. And now, even if you score first against the Leafs aren't great when they score first, but they're actually pretty decent. I think they're 5th best in the NHL at coming from behind. They have 12 wins when allowing the first goal. And so, the Oilers have 6. So even if you score first, you got a hammer on them. And these games, though, that's the one thing I would look at all these games. It's like basically, an average of 8 goals a game between the two teams here for the last 7 games. Like they like to play run and gun a little bit for both. Right now, Mitch Marner's not here anymore. So, hey, that's an advantage for Edmonton. No question. They haven't replaced him with anybody who's as offensive as that. Now, you still got McDavid and Draisaitl, and you obviously got Nylander and Matthews, who are a step below, no question. But you know what? You got Troy Stecher, Speck, who's red hot. Connor Halley's all over the Troy Stecher train right now. But I'm interested to see kind of how Edmonton, like a guy like Mangiapane, there were some rumblings that Toronto was interested in him, and he gets back in the lineup tonight. Now, I will say this. At some point, why is it always got to be Curtis Lazar? You could make a strong argument. Matthias Janmark could get a seat in the press box tonight over Curtis Lazar.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I mean, listen, I'm just counting 1, 2, 3. There's after the Olympic break, there's 4 games prior to the trade deadline for the Oilers. So listen, your argument about Lazar, I don't say for a second Lazar deserves to come out. Someone's got to come out. The coach picked him. Sure. Could Janmark come out for one? Absolutely, he could. I'm not at all surprised to see Mangiapane playing here. At some point, they got to give this guy a chance to get some traction if they're going to try to trade him. And obviously, Brad Treliving's in town, and any trade you make with the Leafs, the Oilers are going to try to make it, they're going to be offering Mangiapane in return. So he's got to play tonight, and I'll bet you he plays tomorrow in Calgary because guys tend to play their best hockey against the team that they got drafted by and played a bunch of years for. So I would not be at all surprised to see Mangiapane play 2. And I sense that a lot of trades, I'm not going to tell you they're going to get consummated, Jay, over the Olympic break, but there's a lot of offers on a lot of tables, and there's a lot of GMs with 2 weeks off that are going to be mulling and thinking and talking to scouts and thinking about it. 2 good games by Mangiapane would be probably what Stan Bowman would most like under his Christmas tree right now, because he could use Mangiapane to show well for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I don't know if 2 games going to salvage it or not. I can say this. I don't think there's any teams out there that are actively looking to take Mangiapane. Could you make a trade where he's a piece to make it all work? Probably. But there's definitely nobody saying, oh, look at Mangiapane score. Like, even if he scores tonight and tomorrow, I don't think some GM's like, oh, we got to get that guy on our team. Like, I think that ship has definitely
Probably,
but
can't hurt.
No, that definitely can't hurt. Ingram tonight, Jari tomorrow. What do you make of that?
Well, that's what I expected. Jari wasn't great the other night against Minnesota. The team wasn't great in front of him. He's only playing one of these games. It's Ingram's turn. You know, I think listen, Ingram's outplayed Jari so far. Now, we're still in the midst, in my opinion, of this whole who's going to be your number one thing. And, you know, it's the kind of default falls to Jari. But, you know, if the playoffs are starting tomorrow, I'm starting Ingram in game 1. But I think a bigger goaltending story tonight is on the other end of the ice. It's Stolarz. Stolarz has not had a good season. He's been hurt a lot. Woll is by far Toronto's best goalie. Woll. It's not even close. And if the Oilers can put a couple early behind Stolarz, I think you probably have a bench of Maple Leafs who are thinking, uh-oh, we got our B goalie in against an A offense, and this can't be great.
What did you make of Sam Bennett for going in, unfortunately, for the injury in Tampa Bay? His name is Cirelli.
Yeah. Listen, you'll never find me saying something negative about Sam Bennett, right? Sam Bennett is the consummate Canadian hockey player. He's kind of, I would tell you, he's Jerome McGinley light, you know, and not that light. Really, really good player. Plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. I watched him win a Conn Smythe last year. All those things. So, we all know Zach Hyman. You know, he wanted to go. I kind of felt like it'd be nice for him, and I feel a little bad that it's not him, just because we know the guy. But I'll never tell you Sam Bennett's a bad choice to play on the Canadian Olympic team. That guy he is all hockey player all the time. He'll make that team better and tougher and harder. He makes them better. That's all I can tell you. I like Sam Bennett a whole bunch.
Oh, God, yeah. No, I don't have a problem with it at all. And plus, it's a center for a center. It makes sense. It is interesting that they're still, obviously, they're waiting on Braden Point here to see what happens. Yeah. But he's not going to, they announced he's not going to play the games. You know, like,
I don't know what to tell you there.
Yeah, like, to me, if you're going to, like, the fact that they announced that today, Cirelli for Bennett, like, I don't know how much longer you can wait, because guys got trips to leave on Thursday or Friday for some players, right? So if we don't hear anything by tomorrow, I'm guessing Braden Point's going.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly coming down to it here. The season ends there's a bunch of Thursday games. Is that not correct?
Yes, there's 7 games on Thursday.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Thursday games. So guys will probably be flying on the weekend to Milan. When's the tournament begin?
On the 11th or 12th. Can't remember which day.
11th or 12th. So we got some time here. The season ends on the 5th. Friday's the 6th. So, yeah, you got to get over there, get assimilated, get acclimatized, get a practice in if they have a practice rink that's open yet. So, I mean, guys will be leaving on the weekend. So, yeah, if I'm Zach Hyman, if my phone hasn't rung by Friday, I guess I'm holding on to that trip and taking the family wherever I'm taking them.
Yeah, Canada plays on the 12th of February. That's their first game. So
that's what you have? Okay.
Yeah, they play on the 12th and the 13th. So there they go.
So, I mean, it's got to be, like my comparison here, Jay, with Braden Point is, remember in the Four Nations when Matt Tkachuk decided, I'm going to play in the final game? He was beat up. Remember, I think he had a groin or whatever, and he couldn't play, right? He didn't help his team. He took some shifts and then stopped playing. They basically played a man short in the gold medal game at the Four Nations. And the team doctors and Matt Tkachuk kind of let everybody down there. You can't be that loyal. So Braden Point, he's a Team Canada guy, and he's a hell of a player, and he gets to be part of this decision. But it's a big decision, and you can't go there and waste everybody's time and be an unhealthy player and stand in front of a healthy guy like a Zach Hyman or whomever. So that's a big decision, and I get how they're waiting until the last second for it. That's fair.
Awesome. Spec, we'll see you at the rink, buddy. Have a good one.
All right, man.
There you go. That is Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by S Construction. Let's get to Camp Tate and the 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca. And here is Camp Tate.
Sacred cloth. Because at that point in my life, it was. I wore it every time I could. My parents let me, except when we went to Trinity United Church, over there, on the pavement shores of Meadowlark Road, and I wore it, especially when I played hockey in Mom's kitchen. Because of my disability, I don't stand up. So, after supper, Dad put me on my hands and knees, 2 table legs. There were my goalposts. Dad gave me my mom's potato masher. That was my goal stick. Dad took shots on me, while Mom did the dishes. I was 7 years old. A few years later, someone gave me a belly protector. I really didn't embrace it until my blue sweater, with that sacred white crest, fit absolutely perfectly. A great moment came. 1967. My dad took me to Philadelphia for treatment. One trip he surprised me. Took me to a hockey game in one of the sport's hallowed shrines, on Church Street. Then, there's that magic date, May 2nd, 1967. I wore my so proud, so very proud, my blue jersey. Because the Toronto Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup. My team, my first team. Now, we know the Leafs and a Stanley Cup, well, maybe they should consider a dating app to get together. But no matter their record, their Stanley Cup issues, their drama off the ice, they're still the Toronto Maple Leafs. And when they're in town, like tonight, I think of that blue and white jersey and how that was such a big part of growing up. 2-minute warning. Gregor, Hallie, Kruger. If he has $10, I might let him. Try the blue jersey on. I'm Tater. Oh, what fun we have at Sports 1440.
Yeah. Yeah, well, hey, fun. If you're not having fun, Connor, what are you doing? What are you doing? Few quick texts. Hey, Gregor, I never wanted to boot Camp Tate, but I know I appreciate this love letter to the Leafs. From Lance. You know what? Hey, Tater can take it. That's all right. You can take it. It's good. It's good. If everyone likes you all the time, you're not doing something. You're doing something wrong, is what they say. Doing something wrong. Coming up, it's pregame show. Walker and Paulson, Oilers and the Maple Leafs. Remember, a little bit of an early puck drop, probably around 6:40. I think it's 6:40-ish tonight for the Oilers and the Maple Leafs. Connor Ingram starting in goal. Mangiapane is in for Curtis Lazar. Those are the lineup changes. Stolars will start for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the pregame show here. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get well, I'm obviously going to get the McVeggie. Medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. It's my favorite meal, and it's new. Plus, if I get that, maybe he'll want it too. And then he'll always thank me for introducing him to the McVeggie. I'll be a hero.
So, McVeggie fries and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a McVeggie meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
These days, it's all about who you know. And that's why it's the perfect time to save at the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. Upgrade your living room in time for the big game and score free delivery on TVs over 50 inches, like a Samsung 85-inch 4K Smart TV for just $9.99. And save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals. And mix and match and save up to $1,000 off 2 or more major appliances. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick in Edmonton South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side on 137th, and downtown near the Ice District.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just